Not the perfect
Also,
warlock for weapons and
because it's not
supplies. But you need a place to track your stuff,
I
cause you're so
try, but
disorganized.
mine, I like take mine everywhere with me. Like I need a laptop because it has to be like super cool. And just like by virtue of it coming with me everywhere, it died. Like from hardware problems and not from
What kind of
other
computer
things.
is
I
it?
take really good care of my computers.
What kind of
They're gonna
computer is it?
last forever. Oh, it's a this one, the Dell XPS 13 or whatever.
What's it doing?
Oh, mine?
Yeah,
It's dead.
like
It's
dead
not
how?
doing anything.
Like it won't turn on at all?
Just dead. I think it's like a motherboard problem, probably.
Well,
Because like
if I still lived
even
in
if you,
Houston, there's an 80% chance I could have fixed it.
oh, I think I told you about it
I
before
don't
when like
remember.
after it happened. It was a while ago. But like it's one of those things where like even if you plug it in, like the battery won't register like a charge. Like there's something that went wrong in the wiring in there.
Okay.
And like
Okay. So, you guys ready
oh
to get started?
Rachel.
We're gonna start with just
Where
some
did Rachel
questions,
go?
so we can wait for Rachel to come back.
Okay.
I see Denny. Okay.
You see Denny?
I see everybody.
I know. I mean, I'm looking at a stand, a mic stand.
Oh.
Fine. Don't worry about it. It's all my end.
Chicken. Get some chicken.
I'll refresh.
Do it.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
did I do that?
I might have done that.
Ah.
I'm tempted to refresh too because I can only see Chase. But
If you go to the settings and Roll20 and click reconnect, it'll refresh just the video, so you don't have to refresh the whole page.
See?
That chicken smells awesome.
Your grandson.
I have a couple questions for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is I want to know why you're in Waterdeep. Waterdeep. Why are
The end of that question cut off.
why
are we in
are
Waterdeep?
why are you in Waterdeep? Do you live here? Did you grow up here? Are you traveling? Why, like individually, why are you guys in Waterdeep?
I want to talk to Cuff about some stuff
Okay.
that I don't get.
So
Mystery stuff.
Kelrick.
Also, we've got sriracha mayo and tonkatsu sauce and a lemon.
So Kelrick needs to talk to Klauth.
I see him too.
What about Joyden? Why is
I'm
Joyden?
Here we go.
Does Joyden live in Waterdeep? Are you from here? Is this your first? Like, what? Why is Joyden in Waterdeep?
I think well, Jordan lives there with the guild, and it's like in a branch of the guild.
Okay.
And
What guild are you a part of?
I'm part of a cobbler guild.
You're a cobbler?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah.
No, there's a guild in Waterdeep for that. Hang on.
Do you like it?
You are a member of the most honorable guild of cobblers and No, wait, what is it called? Hang on. It's the most honorable guild of cobblers and something else.
Where would I put in some notes for myself?
On your character sheet? I think in bio, there's an area where you can put in notes. Registered guild. There we go.
So now there's my character sheet.
Okay, so you are a part of the fellowship, the honorable fellowship of cobblers and fine clothing makers.
Just a second. I think
Honorable fellowship.
Yep, you're
Cobblers and leather makers.
Yep.
Neat.
Well, I think it's echoing because it's coming out of Cat's computer or No, I can hear it like out loud somewhere.
I just did
Is
that
it
on
coming
my.
out of this computer?
Am I on the wrong place again?
No, I can see you.
No, switch to the other tab.
Oh,
I think, yeah.
okay. So I'm gonna get out of this. Okay.
Here we go.
All right. And what about Layla? Why is Layla in Waterdeep?
Good.
I think Layla's in Waterdeep because she probably wanted to go shopping for new shoes and been traveling for a while.
Mhm.
So she's like, I hear the men of Waterdeep are quite dreamy. So I think she's probably just doing the Lord's work there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Getting some shoes, doing the Lord's work.
Respectable.
So you came to go shopping for shoes.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Curtis?
I hear they've got pretty good hats too. But
There's this one shop. I buy this dude and fill this.
Actually, the people who make fancy hats are part of the same guild as Jordan.
Yeah. We have this whole corner of the market.
If you name a thing, like any like trade or association, like any sort of thing, there's a guild for it in Waterdeep. Hello, Noli. I have a cat. What about Curtis? Why is Curtis in Waterdeep?
Well, as you guys know from
Hang on.
another campaign,
Hang on. We'll come back to that. Look at this fucking cat first. Hang on.
a cat?
You're so mean.
It's
Look
a
at him.
cat.
Oh, he was trying to climb up in my lap.
Aw.
He's the sweetest cat. Hang on.
Cat on camera.
Psst, 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 psst.
Yeah.
He's going
Where'd
over to
you
get
find
pets.
him?
Okay, so Curtis, why is it's my sister's cat?
Aww.
There he is.
Aww. So cute.
All right, so Curtis, why are you in Waterdeep?
Oh, you inherited a house with a bunch of other people.
You inherited a house?
Well, what happened? They wanted in a contest. Remember?
Okay.
Nobody else wanted it.
Additional question, why do you no longer have this house?
No one's been making payments on the property tax.
So it got like repossessed?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Wait, was this the house that was this
Yes.
the house that we looked at? Yeah.
Okay.
That was Roland.
So the house that you owned temporarily, that you owned for a while, was called Troll Skull Manor.
Mm.
And it was a little run down. It needed renovations pretty bad. You don't know who owns it currently since like the city repossessed it, took it back for not paying your property taxes. But yeah, you had a house. It was called Troll Skull Manor. It's gone.
Wait, can I own it?
No.
No, I can't own it. Damn it. All right, I guess.
Meemaw
Trust
went
me,
somewhere and
I have a
then
plan.
no one else was paying their dues, and then
I also have plans for
looked at
Meemaw.
our house again.
I'm sure Larry still lives in the
Okay.
garden.
Jordan, Layla,
Oh, yeah.
Curtis, Chris. Why are you in Waterdeep?
Oh yeah, that's me. I'm in Waterdeep, hunting monsters.
So you're just like a monster
Here.
hunter?
Yeah, I'm just a monster hunter, or like just an all-purpose mercenary, basically. You got
Okay.
things for me to kill, I'll kill them.
Okay, so you're just
that's
looking
it.
to make money.
I'm also looking for particular monsters, probably.
Uh-oh.
But yeah.
Okay. What's the so for my personal knowledge, what's the what's the thing you want to kill?
I don't know.
Okay, that's okay. We'll come up with it later.
Okay.
She wants to kill a Leshen.
Noli, get off my lap, bro.
Oh.
Buster. Why is Buster in Waterdeep?
Why isn't he in Waterdeep?
Well, he's been God knows where for the past God knows when, just roaming around, causing trouble and losing everything. But he hears stuff and, ooh, nice shirt, yo.
It's my Dungeon Master hoodie that Cat gave me. Hang on.
Oh,
Aw.
nice.
Awesome.
My thing, my warlock.
Oh, I'm jealous.
What?
Oh, Susie's wearing the paladin one too.
Hey.
Ah,
So, what brought Buster? What drew him back from his rambling ways and had him decide to head back to the city of Waterdeep?
he heard that his son was getting married,
Okay.
and he might be really late for it. He might be really early for it because
I think. Okay. Yeah, I know, but he doesn't know. Okay.
okay,
Ah.
I like that better.
We don't know where on the timeline this is yet.
But he's gonna look for his son, right? That's like a goal of his. He's gonna look for his son.
Yeah, because he just remembered he had a son.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Additional question: do you guys already know each other, or have you never met before? Do some of you know each other?
Well, I know Kurt.
I
know the shoemaker.
Know each other.
Okay,
I
so
think as a merchant, I would know after like I would recognize everybody. I'd be familiar. Sort of.
Oh yeah,
Joyden
me
knows
and
Layla.
Joyden.
Except for maybe Sydney.
Yeah, I don't know. My character's kind of just like a transient.
Is that Donald
Like-
Duck?
Yes.
I don't
Oh.
think I know anyone just because I'm
I've
constantly
been hanging out with my friend who's been playing Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay, so
my
Joyden
goodness.
and Layla know each other. Maybe you guys bought like shoes from each other. Like you bought some
Mhm.
very fine shoes from.
I sold Layla my signature brand of Joydens. You know.
Oh yeah, Air Joyden.
Oh shit! I didn't make that connection, so you made the pun. Oh my god.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Okay.
Oh, I got you.
Okay, so Joyden and Layla know each other because they purchased shoes. Curtis and Peepaw, Mr. Nut, they know each other for reasons that may or may not be explained. Do the rest of you have no connection? You don't really know each other?
Yeah, not really, I don't think.
Okay. Okay, so Buster and Curtis. And the others are a mystery, or question mark, question mark, question mark. Cool beans. Okay. So the one thing that you guys do have in common right now is you are all in the same place.
Wow.
Whoop.
Ooh.
So for various reasons, the lot of you have found yourselves rambling into a local inn, a tavern. It's a famous place, a place that we as players and you as characters know fairly well. It is called the Yawning Portal. It is a sprawling inn, 40-foot wide, or a 40-foot wide tunnel leading down deep into the Undermountain, the pits, the dungeon, the infinite darkness below Waterdeep itself. The bar itself is tended by an old, grizzled man with a ridiculous handlebar mustache named Durnan. Durnan, let me see if I have do I have art for Durnan? I might. Durnan is the barkeep, sort of a no nonsense kind of guy. Doesn't really fuck around. He keeps a giant greatsword hung behind the casks of his various booze behind the bar. And in the time that you guys have spent in Waterdeep itself, you haven't really seen Durnan whip out the greatsword, but he is a burly figure who seems to be capable of handling himself. He has
Is he in this drawing?
He is.
I
Boop, I do have
think
art
he's
for
this guy
him.
with the mustache.
He's number 55.
This is Durnan right here.
Ah. Oh,
That
this
does look very no
This
nonsense.
is such a cool app. You can show things. And
It's pretty handy.
Yeah.
So that's Durnan. He's the bartender. He has but one waitress that works for him. Her name is Bonnie.
What?
She is a young girl who
Number
runs
55.
drinks. You guys, there you go. You guys,
I can see still.
you guys are.
It's impeccable.
The bar is a natural gathering place for adventurers. People come here looking for work, whether it be slaying monsters or other things, and they also come here for information. It's a common place. You can pay a gold piece and be lowered down on the great rope into the pit. I think in the weeks or months or however long you've lived in Waterdeep yourselves, you've seen a few adventuring parties go down into the Great Tunnel, and none have returned.
What's in the pit?
It goes down. All you know about it
destruction.
really is that it goes down into Undermountain. It goes down into the great dungeon that exists below the city of Waterdeep. You've all gathered here this evening for a drink or food,
Oh, no.
or perhaps seeking some work.
This is fine.
There's chatter in the background, a bard plucking away quietly at a oddly three-stringed lute in the background. And one more question I have for you guys. Each of you knows somebody that is a regular to the bar. Somebody who spends a lot of time here. Let me see. Where's my handout? Also, can you guys hear the background noise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Nice.
crackling fire and a little bit of bar music.
Pronunciation
Oh,
guide,
I can't.
Yeah, we might have to turn
So,
it down.
somebody
No,
passed the
under
performance
the-
check, I see.
Oh, well, it's not Max. So,
G-High with
well,
the best
it's a mystery.
Let me
This
find
is
my
also at
handout.
Max.
It's because it's only accepting video.
Can we like roll a D100?
Able to see audio.
A roll a
Oh,
D100? What about rolling a D100?
Oh, I mean, do we have to roll on to see?
To see who you're familiar with? No, I am just looking for.
Okay, I thought they were all numbered for a reason.
No, it's because some of these are like famous characters, like this guy right here. You guys see me pinging on the screen?
Yeah.
That's Matthew Mercer,
I don't think that's
Wait, ping again?
right there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it
Yeah,
is. Like
So-
his little face.
It's fine. I'm just trying to find the handout with the list of people you might know.
I was wondering why that guy was dressed in a normal jacket.
I'll just give you a list of.
Oh, which one did you give me? I just put it in here absentmindedly. I was like, wow.
I feel like Chris would probably try and like insert herself into like the Dragonborn like clique over there. Or like off that way.
Oh yeah.
Go hang out with all
Oh,
the
they look like a fun
Dragonborn.
group.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know what they're about.
there's a group or a number of familiar faces inside of the Yawning Portal.
Does the Yawning Portal actually have rooms?
No, it's just a bar, really.
Just bar?
And each of you have become friendly with different individuals inside the bar. Durnan, the barkeeper, Bonnie, who is the woman who tends the bar. There's Three Strings, which is the bard who plays the three-string lute. There's a human man named Jalaster Silvermane, who drinks heavily, usually quietly in a corner by himself.
I'd be with that guy.
Silvermane? This guy?
You just like insert yourself into his life. Like,
No.
Oh,
We both
that's a
drink
sweet
in
guy.
silence.
oh,
Okay. Dork.
Who's number 31?
he does look like a Nord.
I don't know.
He kind of looks like Peter Parker.
Yes.
Ooh.
There's also Yagra Stonefist, who is a half-orc woman, sort of thuggish. Where is handout C, and why can't I find it?
It's hiding.
Okay. Oh, whatever. I'll mess with it later. There's Yagra Stonefist, who's a thuggish, sort of rough and tumble woman. And there's a Chultan, a human priest of Joaquin, a god of trade, named Obayaya Udai. And each of you have become sort of friendly with one of these individuals. You can pick. You can roll a die. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, 7 of them. So you can roll a d8, or you could just pick somebody that is like like Kat did. Kat decided she is friends with Jalester Silvermane, her quiet drinking buddy, who seems to mostly just hang out in the bar and watch people.
Wait, so what's the deal with the barmaid? What's her
Bonnie?
name? Yeah.
She tends the bar, or she
That's
runs
it?
drinks and things like that. Yeah, I mean, she's friendly. She has a slightly like sort of a thick Cormyrean accent, which is like an English accent sort of. But she's just a polite like young woman.
Who are the other people again? I've already forgotten. I'm sorry.
No worries. Hang on.
There's like the bartender dude who seems pretty cool. There's
There's the
the
barmaid.
barmaid.
There's the
I see.
antisocial. There's the
Yeah.
half orc lady, and there's the 3 strings.
Oh,
Because it's for the 3 strings.
wait, who's the half orc lady? What's her deal?
The third one would be 3 strings. There's Jalester, who's the quiet guy who drinks alone. There's Maloon, who is an adventurer, who's like a cheery, sort of optimistic, warm-hearted guy. He tends to buy drinks for people. And there's Obaya, who is the Chultan woman. And there's Yagra, who is the half-orc sort of thug.
Hey Rachel, wouldn't you be with the guy who buys drinks for people since
You are friends with 3 strings, the bard. He's quiet, a little awkward. He's one of those people that he's a very talented musician, and he plays his lute very well. But he, without the lute, he's awkward. He has an issue with conversation. As long as he has that buffer of the lute between him and the crowd, he's good. And he's back in the back corner right here, actually, playing away. With his
What
little
number is
band.
he?
71.
Okay. Well, then I probably am like, I probably know him because, you know, he was playing really well. Maybe, is he cute? Maybe he's cute.
He is cute. I think I have art
might be
for him.
it.
Hang on.
Not the one playing
Oh,
the bagpipes.
That one, the loot one.
Oh, the one with the eye patch.
The
Yeah.
one playing the bagpipes is Palton Seppa, who is very famous, but not. He's like a dick and he's drunk most of the time.
Okay.
Let me see.
I think Chris would probably just be friends with the bartender. She probably doesn't want to talk to any of these guys, except for maybe those cool Dragonborn dudes over there.
I think that Buster goal in life is to be with those mind flayers in the corner, but we don't want.
Yeah.
They're not actually here. This is just funny art.
Oh, damn it!
Well,
Okay.
he's
You
looking
mean
for
there's
him
not
anyway.
an actual beholder sitting in
you
this
heard,
bar
no,
drinking
that's what
drinks?
brought him here. Is he heard a rumor that there was beholders that drank in this bar, and he was like, yes, gotta
That's
go.
where I want
So that zombie strangling that man in the top left corner.
Not actually
That's
happening.
definitely happening.
No. Player handouts,
I
NPCs.
admit, the lady playing the liar at the top right-hand corner, I did not see it was a liar at first. I was very confused.
Let me see. Here is
She has a
Yagra.
little dragon tail.
That's what Yagra looks like.
Aw.
Nice.
Here's 3 strings.
it.
Here you go. Here's 3 strings.
A roguish looking bard.
Yeah, he's young. He's maybe in his late teens, early 20s, and like I said, a little socially awkward for a bard. But when he has his lute out, he can play in front of a crowd at least.
Yeah, maybe he was asking for some performing lessons or something. I don't know. And
He has
Layla,
performance
she
issues, yes,
likes
that's what we're
she likes to help with performance issues.
Oh,
This is
Yeah.
Davil, the elven man who is sort of brash and a little loud. He's fun though.
This guy.
that sounds like
He looks,
loud, eh?
He looks like he'd spend some money on some shoes.
And this is Maloon Ward Dragon, who is the guy who is friendly and amenable and will buy people drinks and generally is just sort of a likable guy.
Alright.
So far, Kelric has made friends with Jalaster. They sort of sit quietly and drink at their table together.
I'll be friends with Devil.
Okay. And Joyden is friends with Davil Starsong, who is sort of a roguish type. Carries a sword, a bit of a rake, good with the ladies. Oh, and there's also Obaya. And once I show these to you guys, if you click on the little journal icon, the like folded newspaper, you can go back and look at them again later, even if you close them.
Oh, that's cool. I've been just minimizing.
You can just close them. So that's Obaya. So Layla we have a friend for, Kelric we have a friend for, Joyden we have a friend for, Curtis, who have you sort of struck up an amicable relationship with?
Can I pick the bard, or is it like one friend for each person?
No, you can also be friends with the bard.
One.
Yeah.
No, we can't all be friends with the same person. How dare you? That song is mine.
We have to hang up this call right now because there's far too many friends here.
You can be familiar with more than one. I just want to know who the person is that you tend to hang out with, like in the bar the most. Who you drink? Who's your drinking buddy? I think if both of you drink
I
with,
say the bard.
I think if both Layla.
Don't talk,
okay, so I think
but I enjoy hearing the music anyway.
I think if both Layla and Curtis tend to hang out around the bar, tend to drink and hang out while he's playing. Even if you guys aren't like close buddies, you're familiar with each other. You've probably spoken before.
You just kind of give a pass and nod.
Which leaves us with Chris.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna make friends with the bartender.
The bartender, so
you're
buddies
with
big Durnan.
Cool sword.
He does have a giant, ridiculous sword, and I think there's been a lot of you guys comparing scars, and he has more than you.
Okay.
And he'll do this thing where he'll like roll up his sleeve and he'll be like, "Oh, you see this one right here? That's from a red dragon. You got any red dragon scars?" And you'll be like, "Well, I've got this one." He'll be like, "Oh, but look at this one here." And he's he does this while serving drinks with like one hand. He's very good at tending the bar. Okay, and then that just leaves Papa Nut.
Gee whiz, who would I even be friends with? I feel like I'd push everyone away. Maybe I'll hang out with Yagura.
So you're buddies with Yagura Stonefist. So she is a heavy drinker, gets into bar fights and gets kicked out a lot, but she's not like a dick. She's just sort of a rough and tumble character. So you guys are spread out across the bar then. You're not like sitting at a table together. You don't know each other. You're sort of hanging out with the individuals you have. You can hear the clattering of glasses and the song of the bard in the background. The smell of fish and chips, which is like the only food, Quipper and chips. It's the only food they really serve here. They have a plethora of different types of booze and one food item that you can purchase.
Sounds about right.
A group of adventurers, like a party of 4 or 5 adventurers, pay the gold piece to get lowered down into the tunnel. There's the great cheer from the crowd, the smell of ale and pipeweed filling the air, and sort of that general din of the inn as it goes through its nightly business. You've all come here, like I said, maybe to just get a drink. Maybe you're looking for your a job or the next thing to do, a monster to slay in somebody's case. The place itself is a stone building with a slate roof and chimneys that come out of it seemingly at odd angles for no reason. And the center is the 40-foot diameter hole, the well, the Yawning Portal that the place is named after, that descends down into darkness. There are rooms for guests. They're fairly nicely appointed and not overly expensive. You see the familiar faces of the individuals that you've all met sort of carousing around. People drinking and having their regular nightly wares. What are you all doing? Like, where are you sitting? What are you doing this first night, this night in the Yawning Portal? It's like mid to late evening.
I'm probably trying to convince Davil to come back to my shop, so I can patch up his shoes that clearly don't need to be worked on. I just need
Okay.
those gold coins.
Make a persuasion check.
Just to be clear, there's not a no soliciting sign outside, right?
No.
Should I add? Is there a
On your
my
character
sheet?
sheet? If you just click the word persuasion, it'll roll for you, and it'll do the math automatically.
Open my character sheet.
We can also set up macros for that.
I mean, yeah, they're built into the character sheet, and I
Yeah,
have some macros set up that I'll need to get set up for the rest of you. There you go, a 5. Okay. Oh. Okay, so I'm waiting on Jordan.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know where my character sheet is again.
Click on the journal, and it'll be up toward the top in the folder called characters.
Okay, thank you. And then just click on persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
There you go, an 8. Okay. He looks down at his shoes, and Jordan's a woman, right?
Yeah, Jordan's a woman.
And he's like, well, my dear lady, if you would simply take a glance at the finery I have on my feet, you can see I already wear some of your best work. There is no polishing. I take good care of these fine shoes that you have made me.
No, my work is quality, and I would be appalled if it was in battered and torn to shreds already.
Surely you must know I would never wear a pair of your shoes in public in such a way that would make it demeaning to your work.
You've done me a great honor. Thank you.
He sort of bows, and then the camera would like pan away to the next character. So where's somebody else?
I think I'm probably sitting not too far away from them, and I overhear them talking about shoes, and I'm like, oh, shoes. I happen to have this fine shoe powder, which makes your feet smell freaking fantastic, and they sparkle like diamonds. So I don't know if you're interested, but I could sell it to you for a fine price.
This is all bullshit, right?
Oh, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Make a deception check.
Of note, I think I forgot to select like my proficiencies, so this is gonna be funny.
Oh no.
I think it's selected deception though. Okay, yeah, because that's my
Okay.
trait.
Jordan, make an insight check for me.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh my.
You detect no lie. It seems she has some sort of magical foot powder.
Would you be interested?
Let me roll for Dabble.
This would go great with my wares. I would be able to make my shiny shoes even shiny.
I mean, the sparkle like diamonds part is for real, but the smell part, I mean,
so
maybe not so much.
Yeah, Davil's like, oh, you have a foot powder then that allows the scent of one's feet to be masked and also makes them quite shiny, do you?
Oh, I do indeed. Would you like to see it? And when I pull like a vial out, it looks like silver glitter. I also have a gold one that looks like gold glitter.
Okay. So he says, I would be quite interested in such a fashionable thing. Perhaps we could discuss prices, and then as you guys begin to discuss how much he's willing to pay for your foot glitter, the camera pans around the room past like a group of guys with there's one with a shaved head, and he has tattoos of eyes that cover his whole like skull.
I like him.
And there's a group of these guys, rough looking, missing teeth, poor smelling. They're having a hushed, agitated sounding conversation. And then it pans over to another player. So who's next? Who wants to jump in here?
I'll go. Yeah, probably just me and what's his face?
Jalester?
Jalester. Me and Jalester have a thing. We both just basically sit there in silence, and if one of us breaks it, it's kind of like that, like answering, but clearly doesn't want to keep talking.
So the two of you are sort of drinking and having like awkward idle chit chat.
Yeah.
Okay, make an insight check for me.
Okay. I don't know. You said open the character sheet and just click the stat you want to use?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
22. Holy fuck. So Jalester, he listens to you talk and he responds sort of quietly, but you can tell he scans the crowd and he tends to hang his eyes on other people, like particularly adventurers. He's sort of carefully watching and listening to other conversations while you're sitting there with him. It's like he's doing something else while you're at his table.
I might inquire with him if he has heard of clout.
Yeah, that sort of draws his attention, and he's like, the dragon that owns the like loan office. Yeah, it's fairly famous.
I've been trying to get to it. And
he shrugs and like takes a swig out of his like fire wine and is like, oh, take out a loan. And then the camera pans and I think it's just Chris and Papa Nut. So which one of you guys wants to tell us where you are in the inn next?
I'm probably hanging out with the bartender.
Okay.
Not
So
doing
at the bar?
much of. Yeah, I'm sitting at the bar, probably eating like Quippers and chips or whatever.
Quippers and chips.
Yeah, and I probably don't ever order any alcoholic drinks.
Okay. Yeah, and
I don't like the taste.
At Durnan, like while you're eating, Durnan is telling you some story. So like when we come to you and he's like, well, anyway, that's what happened to my third wife.
Oh dear.
Wow.
Oh dear.
He's like, never get married again. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It's a rough. It's
Not literally, I hope.
The 4 of them, the 4 or 6 of them, how many ever they were all terrible women. You seem all right though, Chris. You're a good lot. And he like hits you on the shoulder, and you sort of do that thing where you rock in your seat.
I mean, on the upside, if he wants to get rid of his wife, he has a very easy way to get rid of
And then Papa Nut, where are you in the bar this evening?
I'm staring into that pit.
You're just looking. You're just watching them get like the group of adventurers get slowly lowered down into the darkness.
And I'm also
Maybe it's a good thing you don't have any.
just kind of whispering to himself, or at least you think it's to himself. Can't be quite sure.
You're all sitting around, the sounds of gamblers yelling and drunken adventurers singing bawdy songs that sort of drowns out the nearby sound of 3 strings trying to pick away on his lute. The noise, the din of the inn itself is suddenly eclipsed, suddenly blocked out by the sound of someone shouting. And you all sort of turn to look naturally, and the voice you hear is a man's voice, and you look over and you see the guy with the shaved head and the eyeball tattoos all over his head. And he's got about 4 other rough-looking individuals around him, and they've surrounded a table with a hulking half-orc woman, who Papa Nut knows as Yagra. She's nearly 7 feet tall and just stacked, this giant woman. The man himself is about half her size. And he's screaming, like, almost into her face, and yelling, oh, you pig! You like killing me mates, does ya? You like killing me mates? The 7-foot-tall half-orc is starting to stand up, and before she can finish, like, standing up from the table to face him, he, like, leans out and cracks her across the side of the face. like as hard as he can. His 4 other companions standing by, like ready to jump in. She like turns her head, like with the impact of the blow. Doesn't spit blood, nothing like that, but a sneer, a smile curls up past her short tusks, and she cracks her neck. Or cracks her neck. She cracks her neck to the side hard. And as she does, she just roars, this blood-curdling thing that shakes the table that she's sitting before, and like leaps at the dude. Before you can see how the fight goes or if any blood is drawn, a crowd begins to cluster around and surround the people in the fight. You can hear flesh hitting flesh and the sound of a brawl suddenly break out. What do you guys want to do? It's her alone and fighting this guy from what you saw, but he has friends nearby.
I'm gonna start a betting table.
I'm like pretty short, so can I like stand up on my bar stool so I can get a better advantage?
Yeah, you just want to move so you can see what's going on?
Yeah, I just want to see what's up.
Okay, so yeah, you step up on a bar stool, and as you turn away from Durnan, he doesn't reach for the greatsword, but you can see like the look of annoyance of like a school teacher when like a school fight breaks out. That look of like, oh fucking hell, like again, like rolls over his face, and he puts his hand on the bar and like lays his head in it. Like he looks like he's just gonna wait for it to end.
It's like, oh wait, I kind of like look back at it. Want me to?
He like shrugs at you, and when you stand up on the bar stool, you can see like Yagra has grabbed this guy and picked him up and slammed him down on top of her table and like shoved her thumb into his mouth and is trying to rip his cheek out. And is just like growling and spitting and snarling, and you can see him like scratching and punching at her face, but it doesn't seem to be having much effect. And the 4 people he had with him, you can tell they're poised to like jump in at any second.
Peepaw wants to lunge at one of the toadies.
Push your way through the crowd and jump in to fight the like stand-or-bys. Yagra seems to be handling this dude, like one-on-one.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not brave enough to get the big guy. I want to get one of his 4 henchmen.
Are you just gonna like run in and tackle him, or you take a punch at him? Are you gonna try to stab him? What do you want to do?
I'm trying to do that thing that what is it, like a drop kick? It's probably gonna.
So you're just gonna like run and like just leap into the air like a pro wrestler, like
yeah.
Both feet planted at this thing.
Well, if I see this, I'm gonna cast jump on the weird person who's popping into the fray.
Ah!
So when he jumps about 3 times as much as
Yeah! I'm invincible!
Okay. You touch a creature and your jump distance is tripled. Okay. So as you go to run into the fray, you rush past this hulking figure.
Actually, okay, it looks like this.
Ah.
That's the wrong camera. That's the right camera. Yeah, you rush past, and he sort of just reaches out and brushes your arm as you go by with one hand, and as you go to leap over the rest of the crowd, you go to jump in, you suddenly find yourself like leaping over the crowd that's gathered around, and almost landing on your target rather than trying to push your way through. Like you run, you jump, and it's far more than you wanted to jump. Go ahead and make like an athletics check.
Okay. See. So okay. I go to my character sheet and
You just click the word athletics.
Okay.
Okay. You slam into him and knock him over. He goes barreling into the crowd, and you see him look up and sneer, like just angrily at you, and spit, and then start to lunge towards you. Anybody else want to jump in? You guys just gonna watch?
I guess I'll jump in now that other people are getting into the fray. I'm going
Don't want to jump in.
Like gracefully actually just jump over all these people. I think I'd probably do that.
So you from the bar stool, like just leap off. There's a pirouette or a front flip in the air, and you land in the middle of this just as Yagra picks the guy up, his face all bloodied, his cheek torn, and just headbutts the fuck out of him. And there's a sickening like crack noise, and he goes limp in her hands, and she just drops him. And the other three that aren't prone right now leap on top of him, are on top of her. She's trying to throw people off, but yeah, she's obviously at a disadvantage. So you easily jump into the middle. You leap over the crowd. There's a gasp as two people suddenly come flying over the top of the crowd.
Yeah.
I want to jump in too, but I don't want to try to kill anybody or like get like one of those like a serving tray. Like I take it from Bonnie and just like
It just yeah, Bonnie's walking by. You take the serving tray. She's like, excuse, and then you just whack. So did you want to like hit anybody, Chris, or did you just want to like try to push people apart?
I think I'm gonna try push people apart.
Okay,
maybe de-escalate.
Make another athletics check for me.
A little bit.
You just want to pull somebody off the half-orc woman?
Yeah. Wrong way.
Yeah. So make another athletics.
There it is.
Contested by his athletics, which is not great. I rolled a 1. Yeah, you grab this guy by the back of his hair, his long, greasy hair, and as you rip him back, you can see under his cloak, like around his clavicle, he has an eyeball tattoo. So you snatch this dude off Yagra. She smiles and like headbutts another one and is trying to throw another guy off of her. And then Jaden. Well, Jaden's hitting a guy with a tray, so let's do that first. So Jaden, make it would Joyden, sorry, it would be an athletics check, or not an athletics check. It would be an attack roll. So it's a D20 plus like your strength, because you're definitely not proficient in hitting people with trays. What's your just click the word strength on your character sheet.
Oh, okay.
I think you can do like an unskilled strength check or whatever.
You could do an unarmed attack. Okay. It racks across his back. He doesn't really seem to notice. It bing doesn't have the impact. Layla.
I think Layla is if she can get like a good line of sight, she's gonna probably like step up on a railing or on a chair and just be like, "Oh, you poor dear," and she wants to cast Shield of Faith on her.
On Yagra?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it. So her AC is increased by 2. Okay.
My poor love, she's getting attacked. Why won't somebody do something? So that's basically what I say.
Yeah. It's at this point as everybody's getting pulled apart and bashed and separated, and the crowd is cheering, and people are starting to take bets. That you hear the voice of Durnan like sort of crack through the din of everything like a peal of thunder, and his voice he just says, what are they called? Xanathar? He's just like, "Hey, Xanathar, out!" And he just points to the door. And at the word, like, Yagra's bleeding from her nose a bit. Her clothes are a bit torn, but the fight suddenly just stops. As soon as he gives the word, as soon as it seems like he was just waiting for them to get tired. The fight suddenly stops. There are dirty looks given. As they begin to shuffle out, people laughing and jeering at them, but the 5 guys who jumped on the half-orc just slowly begin to shuffle their way out of the bar.
Can I, as one of them passes me, can I, like, reach my hand in one of their back pockets?
You can make a sleight of hand check.
Oh, I can do that. Let me go here. I just want to give them, like, a gross, like, "Oh, you're disgusting," and then bump into them and then like stick my hand in their pants. What do I pull out?
Well, hang on. Let's see if they notice.
Maybe.
No. Okay.
Maybe I don't.
You stick your hand into his pocket, and as you bump into him, he sort of shoves you off and gives you a dirty look, but begins to shuffle out. Roll a d4. Okay, you pull out a copper piece.
Woo!
So you just...
I put that in my purse.
Yeah.
I put it in between the boobies, probably.
It's nature's purse.
So the group of you have sort of leaped into this fight with Yagra together. She looks at you and she's like, she says, "Well fought, good, brave individuals leaping in to save Yagra. All should be proud. Yagra will buy drinks." And I think this is the first moment that a lot of you have really seen each other, so this is a good time. Why don't we describe our characters, and I'll just go to the right. So we'll start with Layla.
Okay, Layla is an average-sized female human height. She's around like 5'5" or so. She has silver hair. She's very pale, but she looks really young for having a full head of silver. Other than that, the pale blue eyes, they're a little bit more icy than anything. And yeah, she's got decent sized features. She's not like huge, but I mean, decent sized. And she's got a little bit of muscle, not a whole lot though. She looks a little bit on more of the thin side. She doesn't look like she can bench press, a half orc or anything, but she knows her way around, a couple of laundry buckets or something.
Okay, Curtis.
Yes. I think at the back of the commotion, you probably see like a 7-foot tall tan half orc in a beach sarong, and he's not jumping into fray, but he's just kind of watching from afar. He was previously going over his taxes until this happening drove him up to see what's happening.
Okay.
Oh, did he get excited about the free booze? Was that why he decided to jump over?
I think Yagra didn't realize he didn't help and is just sweeping him up into the group of you as she's like pushing you toward the bar. Kelric.
Kelric is doing his best to pretend he didn't actually do anything. Kelric at the moment looks about 5'7". He looks a little bit scruffy with like short, dark red hair. And he's, if you had to describe what he looked like in a word, it would be reluctant.
Okay. And Joyden?
Joyden is tiefling, like medium size, like 5'4", so short, like kind of skinny, so that you can get into small places and not be noticed a lot of times for just reasons, but is very talkative and has purple, like green hair and purple skin, so it is attractive in that sense, but also can skitter away.
Okay. And then
also Human at the moment.
And then Chris. I lost audio.
Human, blonde hair, tan skin, hazel and green eyes.
Like and like colors or each
like hazel around the outside and green. Like like a.
Okay. No, I just wasn't sure if you were doing like hazel green or
no. No. And like clad in armor for the most part. Currently chainmail, but I drew scale mail because I didn't want to draw it again when I buy scale mail later.
Okay. And then last but not least, Buster Nut.
Sorry.
You do realize we're going to be like 5 for the next 2 or 3 sessions. We're just going to laugh every time you call him by his full name.
I mean, you can just call him Happy as soon as the joke runs in.
So Buster is a scraggly looking guy. He's dragonborn, but once again he's short, and he's got a huge crazy beard and hair and a suspicious looking hat that keeps wobbling around on his head. He's wearing several occult symbols and strange patches all over his clothes, and it looks like he's been wearing these clothes all over the place. Got them from all over the place, and he smells.
Okay. So Yagra begins trying to bustle the group of you toward the bar. Not pushily, but she's sort of like just moving her way toward the bar. And as she does so, there's like from inside the well itself, there's like a rumbling noise, like a like a low growl almost, and
I summoned him.
you see the chain at the pulley leads to suddenly pull taut, like shake, and then stop, and then Durnan just goes, "That must be another lot of them then. Guess I won't be getting my gold for the ride up." And then the chain like snatches again. There's another like pulling sound, and you see sort of coming over the top of the well, over the edge of it, one long green hand sort of slaps the fingers far too long to be any sort of human creature, ending in sharp, wicked-looking claws. And we need to roll initiative. So, for initiative, can you guys see your tokens on the page here?
Oh.
So for
Kinda.
yeah, they're a little faded.
Yeah.
Here's what we can do.
There's just so much color.
Hang on.
Oh yeah, I was about to reach for my dice.
Here we go. Boop.
That's,
There we go.
I don't think that's one.
No, that's me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Boop.
Oh.
There, you should be able to see them better now.
Oh,
There we go.
There.
I just can't move me.
Yeah.
You should be able to move your characters.
Can't move.
We can move all of the ones except for
I can't move Buster.
Papa. Happy.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
move.
He's not set to your. He's set to Rachel, which is not the name anymore.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I just need to update it. There, you should be able to move him now.
I did, yay.
Okay. So you click on your token, and then with your token clicked, you open up your character sheet, and then just click on the word initiative, and it will give us an initiative order.
Okay. Click on initiative.
Right, the word.
Oh, the word initiative.
Yeah, the word initiative on your character.
If you want to keep your character sheet open in the background, you can just pop it out
Oh,
into a separate window. Like that.
okay. Yes. Maybe. Oh, I can't put in a tab, eh?
You should be able to.
You can open. There's a. If you click the two squares up on the top left, it pops it out into another tab.
No, I guess. Well, no.
Well, another window.
I think.
Yeah, sorry, another window.
I think Pat's computer doesn't like this thing. But that's
It's okay, I'll just click that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go. Oh.
Sweet.
Okay, fine. Sorry.
So.
First one.
Fuck. Oh.
Let me grab
I just click initiative, like it's 2 points.
It's just the word
word
itself. It'll kind of light up red when you scroll over the word initiative.
I should have. Whoop.
Oh, wait.
Huh?
Sheet init. And then.
Oh.
Oh, you know what?
Mm.
I think I needed to like. I think I
Oh.
did it down.
I will get you
False
guys set
accent.
up with macros for this, but
Maybe?
let me make sure everybody's in there. Leela, Kellerick, Buster, Joyden.
Color
There you
rolled twice
go.
on accident, so Color is going to fix her.
Wait, did we roll twice on accident?
No, that's me at first, and then that's you.
Okay.
I think.
I don't know. So mixed.
Oh yeah, I
Might
did
have.
roll twice. Darn.
It's
That's okay.
fine.
I can fix
Don't
it. It's
worry
not a
about
huge
it.
deal. I can literally just
Okay.
delete it.
I don't think I have a
Kellerick,
piece on the
Buster.
board.
Don't?
Is this green guy?
Yeah, you're the orc.
Oh,
Oh, I don't have your token. You're correct. Hang on. Where the fuck is... Okay, hang on. I can just drag it out. I don't have.
Bring
your
us the beach
token.
boy.
Did I make the fours or did you?
Kelric, Buster, Peepa,
I
Layla,
token has fours on it.
Jordan.
But I did the what?
Oh, I don't have your character sheet over here.
That's it.
It's under monsters for some
Oh.
reason.
Oh, okay, hang on. Well, that's where you belong for playing a warlock for so long.
True.
Hmm.
I won't deny it.
Ouch.
It should be under characters.
I will not apologize for being a warlock.
Oh,
Yes!
yes! A warlock. Yeah, a warlock right now.
Represent!
It's under creatures and monsters? I can't find Curtis. What'd you roll, Curtis?
8.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason I don't see your character sheet.
Well, I'm glad the unlucky turn
There
order
you are.
is
There you are.
generational.
Boop. There you are.
Yay.
I accidentally seem to have put 4s on my token. I don't know how.
That is Sydney's character.
What?
Okay. Well, Layla, you get to react first. And I'm going to move Kurt's character sheet into the folder with the other characters.
Okay, so I see a green hand come up. Can I identify that as like a monster hand or like an orc hand?
You identify it as a monster hand. Pretty easily.
Would somebody please think of
I don't know what you've done.
Oh, I'm going
The
to
little
cast
fours.
Sacred Flame on it
Okay.
as I scream, somebody please think of the children.
Dexterity save?
Yes, please.
I got a 19.
Oh, no.
So as the Sacred Flame comes crashing down, this thing leaps the rest of the way out of the portal. You hear the gasps and people begin to back away. Durnan at the back of the bar yells, "Troll!" and then rips the greatsword down from the bar. Clinging to this thing's skin, like attached to the outside of it, are creatures that look like this. Let me blow this up for you. Whoop.
Oh, look at him.
And they've
Like a
attached.
mosquito.
There's
Yeah, it's like a
several of
weird
them that have attached
dragon
themselves to this
mosquito.
thing. Yeah, they're like mosquitoes, but a little bigger than a softball. And they're bloated, like filled with blood. And you can see themselves starting to detach, and you can see a swarm of other ones beginning to fly up behind him. Did you want to run
no.
away or do anything else, Layla?
Wreck him.
I think she's gonna probably, well, oddly enough, she's gonna move forward, I think, and pull out her mace, and her shield, and just kind of stand and yell, "Stand back!" and then kind of stand in front.
Hang on, Roll20 just decided it was going to refresh on me. For no conceivable reason. It just went to the other game.
That's what it does sometimes.
I gotta delete that other one now that we're all in the right place. I don't
Leave
hear you.
this place.
Okay. Okay, so that's Layla's turn. Who goes after Layla while I'm trying to refresh Roll20?
Me.
Buster.
Jordan.
I don't see
no?
Jordan's
Okay.
initiative.
It's
Oh,
my
no,
turn.
I'm after. Oh, I'm at like 8. My bad.
You're way down there. So, Peepaw.
Okay, so I'm going to what am I gonna do? I'm going to see if I can move forward a few paces.
Yeah, I mean, you can. The bar's small enough that you could run up to the thing and touch it if you wanted to.
Okay, so I'm gonna do chill touch.
I think Chill Touch actually has a range. I think you summon a spectral hand.
Yeah.
120.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you
thank
don't have
you.
to actually run up and touch it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, range 120 feet. You create a ghostly skeletal hand in the space of a creature within range, make a ranged spell attack. So on your character sheet, if you just go to spells
hmm Okay.
and click where it says, oh, it doesn't have the spell in here. What is this? Chill Touch? Hang on.
Yes.
There you go. Go to your character sheet, go to spells, and just click on the word Chill Touch.
Okay.
There you go. So 11 to hit. 11 does hit.
Hey,
and then
hey.
in the chat log, click on the word Chill Touch, and it will roll damage for you in the chat.
No way.
Oops, I'm sorry. I'm trying to edit my
Okay.
cantrips.
So 1 point of damage.
Nice.
Exciting.
And the thing, like, hisses. Like, and crouches down. Durnan yells out as you see the little mosquito creatures fly out and begin to try to grab hold of patrons. They begin screaming and running. You hear Durnan yell out, I got the troll! Kill the little thing! Which now makes it Chris's turn.
And I'm gonna run up to like the mosquitoes, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, all the mosquitoes. I'm gonna do some stabby stabs.
Okay.
Um. Pew, pew. Those hit.
Yes, they both hit. 11
Yeah.
points of damage on the first one.
Yeah.
And 4 points of damage on the second one. So, are you wielding? Are you wielding
roll
2
max
rapiers?
damage.
You can't dual wield
Yeah,
rapiers.
2 rapiers.
You cannot dual wield rapiers.
You can't.
No, ma'am.
Can I not?
You can.
You
You
can
can.
do rapiers.
Aren't they finesse weapon?
They are a finesse weapon, which means you can use your dex or strength for them.
I got, but that
they're
was
not.
like the feat that I took.
They're not
Was
light.
like,
Did you take the dual wielder feat?
yeah, I took the dual wielder feat.
Then you can use like a rapier and a short sword.
Or wait, one of these things has a thing, I think.
Yeah, it has to be. One of them has to be a light weapon. Unless you have the, if you don't have the dual wielder feat, they both have to be light weapons. If you have the dual wielder feat, you can use like a rapier and a dagger, but you can't use like rapier.
You can use 2-weapon fighting even when the one you're wielding light.
Yeah, you can use the 2-weapon fighting even when the one-handed melee. Oh, it says weapons you're wielding aren't light.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can dual wield rapiers.
I can.
Okay. You reap in a pair of long, thin stabbing blades, like whip out of sheaths, and Chris skewers one of these things and then the others, and then just scrapes them off into the pit, and they go tumbling down. And I need to find the damn token for Durnan, so I can get his initiative out here. Joyden.
I am going to sneak around and let's see, sneak.
You want to
like,
try to hide?
Yeah.
And you can't do that as a bonus action yet, or can you?
I do.
Because I know at a certain level rogues can do that, but I don't know if you can do it yet. It's called cunning action.
Yeah, I don't have cunning action.
So if you don't, let me see, cunning action. You get cunning action next level. So to hide is your action.
No, okay. Then I am just going to use my bow and attack this one.
If you click and hold, it'll ping. It'll create a circle so I can see it.
Oh, okay.
Cool beans. Okay. Make your attack roll.
Wait.
8. That is an attack. Yeah, you just click on the name of the weapon you want.
Okay. That was the
An 8. An 8 does not hit. I did the math right, yeah. So the arrow flicks over and it clatters off the armor of a nearby adventurer, and he's like, "Hey! Hey!" Did you want to move? Did you want to, like, try to take cover behind anything?
Yeah, let me try to find a pillar, hide behind that. Far away from the troll.
You can move up and take cover behind something. All right, Curtis.
Yes, that's me. All right. So I think he's just kind of pushed to the forefront of this mosh pit.
It's like the crowd pushing one way kind of shoves you the other.
Yeah, it's closer to the action. Oh gosh, I don't know what to do with all this fighting. So I think he's just gonna pull out like this accordion he has from his backpack.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna play something to make them go to sleep.
Okay. So you're casting the sleep spell?
The sleep spell.
Let me add it to your character sheet really quick.
Please do, because I don't know if I did it right.
Sleep. Okay. So if you go to spells on your character sheet and then just click the word sleep, it will pop it in the chat for me.
Did you want me to? Please do. I'm using this little sauce packet as a
22 hit points. Okay. This Sturge begins to take a nap.
I like that you picked that one.
Yay!
Well, it goes by descending, so the creature with the lowest hit points first. But he's napping. So one of the Sturge just like, I think it's over the pit, so it falls asleep and then just falls into the pit, where it will fall a great distance and probably splatter. Which would make it the Sturge's turn, but they're
clear of that.
Dead? Okay. Which makes it the Chur's turn.
Such soothing music.
The troll is going to attack Chris.
Also, does anyone want to clean this up? Because it's kind of gross.
Oh no!
What happened?
Did you squirt it?
No, just there's 3 dead mosquito things on the ground.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's fine.
I will eat it.
Okay, I don't have a character sheet for this troll, apparently.
Oh no.
That's okay. It takes me like 3 seconds to do it.
I just eat it.
Boop. Now I have a character sheet for him.
Is this like Shropshire?
Oh
first,
no, it's Tonkatsu.
So the 3 like bloated creatures that were attached to the troll like pull their suckers out and begin to drift slowly back down the well.
Oh, goodbye.
The troll is going to claw and then bite at Chris. So first it's going to be a claw.
And
Oh shit.
jeez.
13 points of damage.
I'm dead.
Okay.
Goodbye.
So
Down.
you're unconscious. It turns and just rakes its claws into Chris,
Wait,
and it doesn't. It's not so much the slashing at you that gets you, but its claws get hung up in your armor, and it bashes you into the well, and then has to shake you off. It then moves up to.
It sure did get a crit on me.
Oh no!
Yep, there's roll off. And then level 1, guys. It then moves up to Layla and will take a claw at her. 22. You want to do your disadvantage thing?
We can't hear you, Susie.
Warding flare. I don't know. I don't know your character.
I don't know my character either. Hold on. No.
Oh my gosh, we're still learning our.
I guess I just eat it because I don't I don't
Okay.
think I have anything that can help me.
12 points of slashing.
Oh, and then I die.
Okay.
No.
So it rushes up, claws into Layla, knocks her unconscious. So it just buries its claws into the side of your throat, like right above your clavicle, and where it's exposed, and rips down. And blood begins to just pour as a chug, like a giant gash is pulled out of your throat. You reach up and grab at your throat. You begin to gasp for air, and then everything goes dark. And then grab some random halfling that's running by and bites into it and rips a huge chunk out of it, throws the halfling down and begins to chew and try to swallow.
No.
Oh wait, I do have warding flare. Apparently that's a thing I can do.
Well, it's Kelrick's turn now and you're unconscious.
Yeah.
You'll know next time.
fine.
It's okay.
I don't think I can do it as a reaction.
So, is this where the guy is now, or has he moved since?
He's right there. Or Durnan. Durnan's back here. He's behind the bar.
Okay.
So the bar is like here. The pit is like whoop, like there.
Okay, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3,
Yeah, you can use a reaction to impose disadvantage on an attack roll.
5, and I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on the person that just went down.
Okay.
And then I am going to use my hidden step to turn invisible.
Do you have Cure Wounds on your character sheet on Roll20?
Yes.
If you click on the word, it should throw it in the chat for us, and it should automatically roll the healing.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I hit it twice again. I'm so used to doing it twice.
It didn't do anything.
Oh,
Let me look at your character sheet.
sorry.
It's no big deal. It's
I
new.
might not have done it right.
Cure Wounds. Cast at level 1. Submit. There you go. You get 7 hit points back, Susie.
Yay!
So you,
God.
like blood comes coughing out. You can feel like the wound in your throat begin to knit close. It itches and scabs over. You cough up a little blood, and as your eyes blink close, you see this man described earlier standing over your form.
And then he immediately like chameleon, it vanishes.
Yeah, and then he just sort of sparkles and disappears. Does your Cure Wounds, do any of your guys' spells look interesting in any way? Like, do you just reach out and touch
whenever I cast Cure Wounds, like I have this beaded necklace that's around my neck with some feathers on it. I feel like it kind of like lifts up and floats.
Okay. So you see a moment of the necklace floating around his neck, and then his form shifts away. Is your turn invisible thing like an action? I think it's an action.
It's a bonus action.
Okay, cool beans. Layla, it is your turn. You come back to life. The troll's still standing over you with like a half-eaten halfling in his hand.
Ugh.
I see. Yeah, I wake up and I see, some dude that stands over me, and then he disappears, and I'm like, "Oh, are you an angel?" and and then I look over at
He goes,
is the halfling like
he's dead. It's just
he's dead as
it's
fuck.
just a body that this thing is chewing on. Like it's got it clutched in its claws and it's biting chunks out of him.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna kind of be like, oh, and kind of like move over here next to the person that's taking a nap on the ground here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna reach down and use my healing hand to pick up the person that's down on the ground. I'll be like, oh, on your feet, Sam, or something. Whatever your name is. I didn't get it. You get 1 hit point.
Yeah.
You get 1 hit point.
So you wake up with 1 hit point.
Sorry.
And then I'm going to use a bonus action and cast Shield of Faith on you. I think it's bonus action.
Nice.
Let me check. Yep. I think. Hold on. Yeah. So I'm gonna pick you up and and healing hands and shield of faith on you.
Ooh, nice. Thank you.
All right, that's all I got.
Okay, which makes it Durnan's turn. So you get a +2 to your AC. Durnan leaps over the bar, pushes past Kelric, greatsword in hand, and crashes into the troll.
Sorry. Did he go to?
Durnan rolls a 28 and does 12 points of damage.
Or something. I usually just copy and paste stuff from him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's that one.
Oh, that one. Okay.
2 hits.
Thank you. Because a lot of the warlock spells aren't in the compendium.
They're not.
They're not.
I'm learning
if they're
so
in the
much.
player's handbook, they should be in the compendium for you guys.
They're not.
If they're not in the player's handbook, then
no, they're a lot of the warlock spells and like a lot of class specific spells that are only for like one class aren't in the compendium for some reason.
Okay.
They just never put them in there.
So Durnan,
like a lot of wizard.
Durnan leaps over the bar, crashes into this thing with his shoulder, hits it in the testicles with the pommel of his sword, whips the sword around and slashes across it, catches the blade, and then rakes across it with the blade almost like a staff, and he carves chunks out of this thing. It doubles over in pain from the impact in the testicles, and then he carves big chunks out of it with his greatsword. It is at this moment that you realize why the 5 guys that started a bar fight just left when he said. Because he did 32 points of damage.
Holy shit.
Buster.
Okay, so
Buster up!
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
And Durnan's like yelling at he's going get a lantern, pour oil on this bastard.
Okay. Oh God. That would be awesome.
This probably happens often enough.
So I'm going to cast Armor of Agathis on myself.
Okay. I'll add it to your character sheet. Give me a second.
I'll be right back.
No.
You're forbidden from leaving, Cat.
Sorry.
You've got it on your character sheet. Is it set up? It is. There you go. Hey.
Hey.
So you gain 5 temporary hit points for the duration, and if a creature attacks you, it takes 5 cold damage.
Nice.
Okay. So that's your action. Is there anything you want to do with your bonus action, or?
Not sure what I can do.
Okay. So what does Armor of Agathis look like when Buster Nut casts it?
Whenever he casts it, it kind of looks like he gets like this little gust of wind that blows his like rags and clothes over his face for a minute. He just kind of, and then it's like.
I'm losing audio.
He kind of looks frosty.
All right, stay frosty, my friends. Did you want to move at all?
I'm going to move behind the strongest looking person I.
Probably Durnan.
Not me. My 1 HP.
Okay. You can move your token around wherever you would like to be, which makes it Chris's turn again.
It's me. I'm gonna use a second wind.
Okay.
I need some
HP
Sorry,
back.
That's fine. Okay.
So second one gives you some hit points back, and that's a bonus action. So what do you want to do with your action?
How much do I get? I don't even know.
It's a D. It's your hit die plus your fighter level. So.
Oh, so it's all of my HP.
Well, you roll the D10 and then add 1.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
And you can roll it on Roll20, or if you got a D10 handy, you can just roll it there.
Yeah. I'm just gonna fix it in the character sheet, so it'll do that.
So it'll do it automatically.
When I click on
it.
Yeah.
Oh, you put down all your equipment. That was smart.
I used the Character Mancer, which did it for me, which was really cool.
Okay,
great.
So you get 5 hit points back.
Well,
and
that's all right.
Because you've used the Roll20 before, you got it. You know how it works. Okay, cool beans.
I know how to do the thing.
And that's your bonus action, right?
Yeah.
So you still have your action.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. I guess I'll go. Is this other mosquito still here?
No, it got put to sleep
Oh, okay.
and fell into the
Then
well.
I'll just stab this dude in the back.
Yeah, I thought dual wielder. So I play a dual wielding fighter, and I thought dual wielder said even if one of the one-handed weapons you're using aren't light, but it just says even when the one-handed weapons.
Yeah.
So I could dual wield longswords as Mr. Denton this whole fucking time, and I didn't even know
you
it.
could. But longswords do the same damage as rapiers.
Yeah, but he's a strength-based fighter, so.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess you can start now.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Oh, I'm doing a stab. That's what I'm doing. It missed.
9 does not hit. So it rakes
Yeah.
across its hide, and as it cuts through, it does cut. It it draws a little blood, but as it draws that line, that bead of blood, you can see it begin to knit itself back closed, like the wound is healing behind itself.
Oh,
There's a button.
Joy done.
I am going to sneak, which actually is not a thing I can do and attack at the same time.
No, but you could. So if you hide this turn, next turn you'll get advantage on your attack roll. But if you shoot it this turn, because it's engaged in melee with allies, you would get your sneak attack if you hit.
Oh, I do? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Looks
yeah.
like a croissant. But
Let
it's a
me attack
So
around.
you
like a
peek
croissant.
out from behind the
Bun.
nearby pillar.
A bun sign. For
There you
bun.
Take a shot with your short bow.
Take that.
13 actually hits. So
Yeah.
click on the
Awesome.
word short bow in your character sheet.
Okay.
Or not in the character sheet, sorry. In the chat log, click on the word short bow.
Oh, okay. In the chat log.
So 6. And then how much damage is your sneak attack?
1d6.
It's just 1d6. Okay, I will add it to your character sheet. But for now, you can just go /R and then space 1d6 and it'll roll it.
/R 1d6. 1d6. Boom. Boom.
Okay.
+2.
There you go. So there's a thing in your character sheet now that has a checkbox that'll say global damage modifier. If you check that, if you hit when you roll your damage, it'll auto do it for you.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It's got a little checkbox. You see it in the middle of your character sheet?
Yep.
Cool beans.
Yep.
You're
Just
good to go.
checked it.
Okay. So 6, 7, 8 points of damage from Jordan. Alright, the troll is still up though. Now it has an arrow buried underneath its jawline, and like horrifying green like spray of blood splatters in Durnan's face, and he goes, "Oh, it stinks! Oh, it stinks! Oh God! Oh, it stinks so bad." Curtis.
That ain't right.
oh, whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to move you.
I'm moving around.
Oh. I was trying to move myself.
I will make it so you can only move your own character sheets now that you have everything set up.
Okay, thanks.
So Curtis.
Hide behind you.
I'm moving backwards out of the fire.
Sorry.
So is the troll this other green guy?
This is the troll right here.
Yeah, okay. So
Also, if you want, while your character is selected, you can move.
is each square 5 feet or 10 feet?
5 feet.
Oh, that sounds good.
And anyway, I think I want to keep playing my song,
Okay.
but the sleepiness effects have worn off.
Yeah, that thing fell
And
into
then
the
I'm
pit
gonna
and hasn't come
start-
back.
I want to get closer to the troll, so
Okay.
I'm gonna start singing in a language no one understands, and I'm gonna do dissonant whispers.
Hey.
Okay. What'd that do?
You gotta make a wisdom.
A wisdom save for the troll?
Yeah.
Did I close the troll's character sheet? No, there it is. It's just buried. Oh, it's real good at these. How's a 16? I lied. It is real good at these. Is a 16? Does a 16 do it for you?
Yes.
So
I mean, no. Sorry, no.
So it passes or it fails?
Wait, no, 16. That passes.
Okay. So
Minus 13.
does it have no effect, or does it half? What do? Give me just a second. I'm gonna add it to your character sheet so we don't have to do this again. Apparently it's abjuration. Hang on.
So half of 3d6.
Okay, so roll your 3d6.
I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way.
That's fine. Dissonant whispers.
Roll the bones.
I have actual bone dice.
Really?
Yeah, they're pretty sick.
He has actual bone dice.
There you go.
5 plus 4, 9.
They're very
So
small.
what's happening? 9.
4.5.
4. Okay. What do you? So there's Curtis begins to step forward in his whispering in this low voice. You can all hear the words feel like slimy and squirrling as they go past you. What does it look like when this thing goes unconscious?
Oh, does it?
It goes
Nice.
unconscious.
Well, I think he was just too moved by the sounds of my beautiful song.
Like a single tear.
One tear rolls down the troll's face as its horrifying hooked, like carrot-looking nose, like it drips off the tip of its nose, and then it just falls unconscious. And then you can see though that the wounds that Durnan has given it and the damage it's taken already are slowly beginning to knit itself back together.
Oh gosh. With fire.
So it goes unconscious, and the Sturges are dead. But then at the start of its turn, Chill Touch is cold damage, right?
No, it's necrotic, so
But
it can't heal itself.
Or is that only for undead?
Oh,
It might be.
Let me look at the spell.
that might be for undead.
I don't know.
Okay, you create a gas and make a ranged spell attack on a hit. Takes target until then. The hand clings to the target. If the target is undead, it doesn't say anything about it not healing itself.
What?
It should.
On a hit, the target takes 1d8 necrotic damage, and it can't regain hit points until the
start of your next turn.
Oh.
Which your turn has come and gone again.
It sure has.
Yeah, so it falls unconscious, and then it's down there for a minute. You see Durnan flip the sword over like he's going to stab it, and he looks back, and he's like, a lamp! Grab one of the damn lamps! And the troll stands back up and tries to eat Durnan. So it spends its turn eating Durnan, which makes it Kelric's turn.
So Kelric becomes visible again, and he's about 2 feet taller.
Mm-hmm.
Because I imagine we've been in the place for a little while before this fight happened. So
yeah, because you only have like an hour on your thing, so.
Right. So yeah, he's a firbolg. He's a big boy.
Yeah, he's like as big as Yagra, if not bigger.
And seems very self-conscious of that.
He does that thing that really tall people do where they hunch to try to make themselves look shorter. He reappears in the crowd. People gasp.
And he's gonna like reach forward and twist and cast something fire. I have fire.
Fairy fire?
No.
Firebolt?
No. Produce flame.
No.
Apparently I can throw it.
Yeah.
So he's gonna produce flame at this thing because.
Okay, click on it on your character sheet for me.
Cast it at level 0?
If it's a cantrip, yeah. You just hit submit. There you go. Oh no, it's a first level spell. That's okay. And you're gonna throw the fire at him. So make a ranged spell attack. And if you want to do that on your character sheet, you just click where it says spell attack on the spells, like up on the top right.
Thank you.
And it will give us the attack roll. Let me see.
Wait, at spell attack?
Kelric. So up on the top,
So like,
up on the top right of spells, you see where it says spell attack bonus. Oh, here, hang on. I'll just let me just fix your shit real quick. Produce flame. Boink. Okay, now click on the word produce flame in your character sheet, and it should do it as... Nope, not that. Just like this. There you go. 21 to hit. And then click on the word produce flame in the chat, and it'll roll damage.
Like, in this chat?
Yep, in the chat.
Yeah. In the chat itself.
I click on produce flame and nothing happens.
You click on it in the chat log, it should just roll damage. Like, it just did it for me.
I guess I suck, cause...
Okay, there you go. You do 8 points of damage. We're gonna take it. So a little ball of fire appears in your hand. You throw it at him. Your hands light on fire. Do you shoot lasers out of your eyes?
are you sure?
I mean, I'm asking. Like, what happens when Keller casts this spell?
Like, I think he does like this, and like the flame like appears floating above his hand, and then he just freaking baseball chucks it.
Yeah. So the fire rips across the creature. You smell that horrid smell of, because the thing's furry and green, so it's that smell of burning fire, like flesh and hair. And as the fire licks across the side of the thing's face, it like this wound does not heal. Like, it eats across its face, and it looks rather unpleasant. Layla.
I think Layla is just gonna cast Sacred Flame on his face.
So
So you need to make a dex check.
Dex saving throw. Okay, I got a 19.
Oh
So
no!
it steps to the side,
Children.
tired of the fire, and Durnan's like, yes, fire! Fire is good! Continue with the fire!
Chase, did you knock me out of my character sheet?
Maybe.
You might have.
Oh, because you're not on your own account right now.
I'm not.
You're on, here, I'll just make it so everybody can do it. There we go. We'll just leave it like that.
Okay.
I'll stop poking people's icons. Sorry.
That's fine.
Durnan carves into it, and it goes down again. It's unconscious still, but you can still see the wounds. Everything except the little bit of fire damage it's taken is still running into it. And as it slams down, Durnan puts his foot like on top of the thing's head and begins like hacking at it. And he's like, "A lamp! Someone get a fucking lamp!"
I like how he said that twice and so forth.
Buster.
Your hands are busy.
Did he say lamb or lamp?
Lamp.
There's a lamb leg on the table.
I'll get the lamb leg.
No lamp.
There's no lamb in this place. They serve one thing, and it's fish and chips.
Get some lambs.
You run out of the bar. I gotta go find some lambs.
I must find this lamb.
And that's how our party meets, on a hunt for lambs.
All right, so what do you want to do, Buster?
Buster's gonna grab the lamb.
You see, grab one of the lamps nearby and like throw the oil on top of the creature.
Sure. So I guess I better move, am I?
Yeah, so you're dumping oil on this thing while Durnan's trying to bang on it to keep it unconscious, which makes it Chris' turn. Christopher Robin.
How long would it take me to like manually set a fire?
I mean, it's covered in oil. All you need is like a spark. There's candles nearby. If you have like a tinder, like a flint tinder.
Yeah, I have a tinder box.
You could just do that if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'll just.
Yeah, and it gets covered in fire. Durnan steps off of it as it begins to cover in fire and like wipes the sweat in his brow, and he looks at you, like the group of you, and he's like, good. That some of you got new scars, this is good. When that's done burning, dump that fucking thing down the well, and he goes back to the bar.
Ah! Wow.
We are out of initiative.
Yay.
Control isn't wearing any pants.
He doesn't need pants. What's he
Nope.
need pants
Pants
His
are
for?
junk
people.
is out, and I gotta pee, so I'll be right back.
I gotta pee too.
Everybody go pee.
Well, if you insist, I'll try to screw something out.
I feel like you are both vaguely amused and very disappointed.
I'm always disappointed, Cat. Always.
Hey, Uzi,
Hey, cat.
you need to come visit. I have been holding a shirt for 2 weeks.
Uzi, where you at?
I'm in Japan. So that's why it's like,
right.
How
How
dare
dare
you?
you?
I know, like
Stop
look how
doing that.
bright it is.
Also, what's the deal with like half of the people I know are in Japan right now for some reason? Everybody's going to Japan, hanging out in Japan. Oh, that might be it.
Cherry blossoms.
Just go to Washington, D.C.
I like your samurai
Why-
shampoo shirt, by the way.
Thank you. I like it too. Yeah, no, that's doors on mine. Okay. So yeah.
I was about to say, oh no, Uzi's.
I'm trying, but yeah, Japan.
Yeah, with palm trees.
Where are you in Japan, by the way?
What? Oh yeah, you're welcome. I'm not downtown. I'm actually at my brother's place, so it's
No, but like where?
I just love the. I'm very obviously in Japan.
Haizuma, like West Tokyo, like
Oh, okay.
about 20 miles west.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Later on, because I'm going to be here for a month, I will be able to stay downtown. I'm going to hang out, do touristy stuff. Like a few of my friends are going to be coming too. I'm going to hang out there. Yeah, it'll be fun. Yep.
I love whenever I have to go to the kitchen, I appear in absolutely everyone's background.
Yeah, there she goes. We should have aligned our chat windows like in order so that Cat walks from window to window.
I was thinking about having a camera over here so you can see all of us at once.
That'd be nice.
But
Do
that
you
doesn't
need a
work
camera?
No, I have one, but it doesn't work for in here because it makes everything square.
What?
It makes everything square.
Oh, because it's not wide angle.
Right.
Oh, okay. We could just do the video thing in Discord.
Could anybody like some nori or lychee?
Yes.
Which one?
Lychee. Gimme, 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 gimme.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Every time I make it, I have to make like an entire like package of chicken because my parents like go nuts over it. Oh, that's a lot. Well, thank you.
It'll last you a while.
Yeah. No, man, my parents, how much did I make? I made like 5 pounds of chicken today. That's why I was late, is because I started cooking at 4:30 and I didn't finish until 5:40 because I was cooking 5 pounds of chicken. And my parents were like, "Is that all you're leaving us?" And I was like, "This is 3 pounds of chicken."
I got 3 pounds of something.
Chicken.
But it's not from
Chicken.
Sydney. Sydney can't have any of what I got.
Oh.
Only for Uzochi.
Oh, it's for me too. Thank you.
I
Appreciate that, Mr. Chase. I'll have to bring you back.
Oh, that is really
on
tricky.
my own.
It's like I'm on the left side.
Hey, yeah.
Oh, your tokens are still on this map. Let me delete.
Yeah, they're like mirrored, aren't they? My shirt's mirrored, isn't it?
No, it says Warlock. In the right.
Does it?
direction.
Oh, maybe it's just mirrored for me.
Pretty sure that says
We're the
Horlock.
ones.
I mean, it might also be that just your screen is.
Cause you got the perfect Warlock. Her weapons and supplies. that you need a place to track your stuff because you're so disorganized. You click open the web page you heard about on Critical Role. I'm waiting for Curtis, for Denny to get back. Rachel and Denny.
Yeah, they're drifting. They're getting drinks.
Have you seen? There's a YouTube series of the like 10 different types of hero name here for Overwatch.
No.
There's one that's 10 different types of McCree and Matt Mercer was number 10.
Have you guys seen there's a guy that does, what is it called? He does these videos called A Crap Guide, and he started doing ones called A Crap Guide to D&D. It's funny. Google it. Google A Crap Guide to and like whatever your class is.
Okay.
And he will make fun of druids, and he'll be like, whatever, fucking hippie. It's really funny. We'll do it later. Somebody gather Rachel and Denny back up.
They're here. Or, well, yeah. Yeah, they're coming.
Be merry.
Here they are.
We're in a bar, apparently. We should eat and be merry.
Should get drank!
Get your drink on.
Chris pulls a bunch of lychee jellies.
It's just out of nowhere. Just like...
Okay. Alright, we cool? We're ready? I'm gonna wait for Curtis to stop cleaning his teeth before I start the stream again.
Sorry.
Okay.
Performing does a toll on its.
Okay.
That's how they.
We're on the internet. We're on the internet. Yeah, so the fight breaks out. Durnan annoyedly, people are sort of scattered. Yagra like literally drank and watched the whole thing, laughing.
That's fine. I respect her.
Durnan it just says when that shit's done burning, dump it back down the well. And he goes back and hangs I think he pulls out the rag he's been using to clean glasses and stuff with and like wipes the troll blood off of his sword and hangs it back up behind the bar. And then he looks at the rag and he's like, "Hey, Bonnie! The Bonnie!" And he holds the rag out and she comes over like with a serving tray and holds it as far away from her as she can. He throws it on the serving tray. And then she scuttles off to the back with it somewhere, and he goes back to serving drinks like this is the thing we do during in the Yawning Portal. So you guys have a few minutes to sort of just do whatever you want.
I'm gonna go sit down at the bar and be like, so does this sort of thing happen often?
Durnan is like, trolls? No, last week it was a drow.
Oh, okay.
Troll, that might be the first troll that's come up out of the well, but things come out, things happen, it's dangerous times, something, I don't know.
Oh.
Yagra, I think you were going to buy these fine folks a drink, and Yagra slaps the money down on the table, and she's like, laughing, and she's like, Yagra is very impressed. She thinks these are mighty warriors.
Oh, thanks, Yagra.
Yagra is the best person in the whole place.
She looks at you and it's like she smacks Buster, who's like, is Buster a tiny little dragonborn?
Probably like
or is he an actual like dragonborn proportions?
You know how my characters are.
I mean, that's why I'm asking. I want you to tell me how your character is.
He's like a little bit taller than Filbert is, but he's like squat. He looks like an onigiri.
So he's very small, sort of roundish looking. And she smacks you on the shoulder, which causes you to nearly fall over because her hand is like the size of your face. And she's like, "Yes, Yagra agrees with the Buster. Perhaps Buster would have drink with Yagra." And Durnan begins putting whatever what is it? Undermountained Arclurian, which is a very dark, like heavy beer. He starts putting drinks, because that's all Yagra drinks. He starts putting cups of that out on the bar.
Yes!
I just kind of very quietly asked for like a Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
The virgin.
He touches his nose at you, like he knows, and he slides you a mug filled with something like green looking. And it's like minty and a little sweet, but it has no alcohol in it. It's like maybe some kind of tea.
Oh, okay.
You're not super sure, but it's no booze.
It
tastes okay.
but it looks like it could be boost. That's what's important.
You could add boost to it.
No,
So the
okay.
group of you have gathered around the bar. You can see patrons whispering at you. Kellerick would notice that this is the most attention that Jalaster has really ever paid to her. He's looking at you pretty hard. Yeah. What do you guys want to? Anybody else? Anybody have something specifically?
I think Cassie probably slips into a bar stool and she just kind of looks down at her.
You're not playing Cassie anymore, babe.
Sorry, not Cassie. It's about the same kind of gist. Layla, excuse me. Layla kind of looks down. Notice that she sees like a little bit of blood on her very fine outfit. And she just kind of like brushes it off. And it's like, I have to go see the cleaners again. And then just chugs her beer. Like, you don't even know how fast. Like, you see one moment, it's a full stein. Next moment, it's just empty.
Make a Constitution save.
Okay. She might not make it, but she's just like, I've seen too much today.
I want to
Oh shit! Yagra or Layla is fine. Yagra watches you chug this, and like you could see her eyebrow go up a bit, and like she smiles. One of her fangs is cracked slightly, but she smiles at you and is like I don't know, make an insight check.
Oh.
Okay. Let's see. Yes, dear.
Okay. Yeah. Yagra's giving you the eye. She's like, oh shit, that's a chick who can hold her liquor. Like she's a little into it.
I think Layla, you know, she blushes and she just kind of looks over and she's like, "You want to get me another?"
Yes!
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
I might be getting me some. Right, persuasion. Hold on, that's performance. I'm not performing yet.
Hey.
Would you like me to teach you about soon?
Yeah. You're like, buy me another drink, and she's like, this Yagra will do. And she motions to Durnan to get you another drink.
I think what I do is that whenever I take the next one, I'm like, you know, maybe later I can tell you about soon.
Hang on, I gotta make a roll for Yagra to see if she knows what the fuck that means. Where is your character sheet, Yagra? Hang on, I gotta go to another tab.
For those in the audience, that's the goddess of love.
Wow.
Yagra Stonefist. Alright. Nope, not her token. That's control. This is what happens when you use a Mac and then switch back to Windows. Okay. Jesus. Yagra's only high stat is strength. I gotta make what is it I said I was gonna make? Oh yeah, like a religion check. I got a 4. She doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I think I'll just like draw a heart in the air.
Hang on. Yeah. No, she goes. So she thinks that this is some sort of like probably something she would look up on Urban Dictionary in the modern time. Like she doesn't understand that it's a god, right? So she's like, she tries to play it off like she knows what it means. Like she gives you this look like, yeah, and she's like, oh, I like to do the soon. Yes, you show me the soon.
Oh, you got it. I'm gonna show you this soon.
Okay.
I think Layla probably just is like, all right, she has no idea, but she gets that I wanna, you know. So.
Okay, and then anybody else do anything? What is Curtis? We haven't heard from Jaden. We haven't heard from Chris.
Jordan.
It's gonna be really hard for me to remember that.
Yeah, no, like the A and the O.
It's like Jordan, but with
Yeah.
Yeah, I like thinking it's like
Joy.
Jordan, but with like a thick, like New Jersey accent.
or it's the off-brand.
New Jersey.
So what is Joyden doing?
Jordan, I think is going to be like
Good.
shoes, be like and pointing out to Lila's like, you see these Jordans right here? They never fail her the entire time. This is quality workmanship.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
you get them Jordans?
Okay.
Oh, I think I got them from
that's right.
Jordan.
That's right. You got it from Jordan.
Okay. And what is?
I don't.
Also, you'll notice
like,
that Chris doesn't wear shoes. I'm a heathen that doesn't wear shoes.
Yeah.
How are you functioning as like? How do you know?
You just like you normally don't
trust
wear
control.
shoes, right? So you
Yeah, I
walk
just
around.
don't wear shoes ever.
So Chris is like this sort of amorphous character, but their feet are like thickly calloused and dirty from walking the streets of Waterdeep, and they are like you can tell this is a person who spent a lot of time barefoot. I think that's something Jordan would pick on immediately.
Also, probably a lot of time like not around other people, like out in the wilderness. A little awkward. Probably.
Maybe a little bit smelly.
Probably.
I know that your shoes are pretty. I mean, your feet are pretty much your soles. But my shoes will give you a whole soles. Like you literally feel the soles in your feet. And I just go on and describing what Jordans are.
Just sitting here like drinking my drink like this, like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can tie it tight, and you have it in like in all the way to your legs. You will never have to worry about mud getting in between your toes or anything. Like they're great. They're comfortable. They're warm. I mean, do you ever travel outside of Waterdeep and get frostbite? Yeah, not in my shoes. My shoes will keep them tight.
Well, right now in Waterdeep, it's like late spring, early summer, so the ice is cracked on the ocean. Ships and trade have begun to pick up. The city is becoming more of bustling, and it is getting warmer. Flowers are just starting to bloom. Birds have been boning. So it's getting late in the spring season, and it's getting on toward where it's going to be. Yeah, it's getting to where it's going to be warmer soon.
Maybe some other time.
I mean, but you don't want to let your feet sunburn. They gotta have to get a protection.
They're fine.
Just try it out. Let me give you a little tongue just for the top of your feet.
No, I'm good.
Probably should
I'm good.
For your feet.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, putting tongue on your feet tickles.
Yeah.
Oh, Jordan. You animal.
I know. I'm just so ravaging. You don't even know. Yeah. So you should come by the shop. I won't take no for an answer.
But what if I just don't though?
No, like you're gonna come.
I'm
with
not
me.
saying no.
Wares.
I'm just saying, what if I just don't?
Then I will continue to try to push my shoes on you, onto your feet.
So in the middle of this sort of semi-awkward conversation, you guys begin to see a figure start to approach you. It's a man, short, kind of chunky, with a well-trimmed and waxed beard and mustache. He has pouches and belts. I have art for him. Here you go. Boop. This is the guy that comes walking up to you. Big floppy hat on.
It's him.
Yeah, and he comes walking up to you and he says, excuse me, I could not help but notice that you were quite brave-looking adventurers. My name is Volothambgadarm, chronicle wizard, celebrity at your service." And he does like a sweeping bow, adjusts his big floppy hat as he does so, and he goes, "I trust that you have noticed quite the violence in the past 10 days, and well, I have not seen so much blood since my last visit to Watergate, but now I fear I have misplaced a friend between the emotions toward somebody at this point is starting to dump the troll down the well. But to such things. You see, my friend, his name is Floon. Floon the Blackmar. He's more beauty than brains. He's not a bad man. Oh, you may call me Volo, please. It is very nice to meet all of you. Yes, hardy adventurers. Good lot. You see, a few nights ago, Floon and I, we took we went to carousing. You know how it is. And I thought perhaps you could help me with something here. This is yes, my name is Volo Thampagalam. Perhaps you have heard of me. I've written many books.
Doesn't ring a bell.
I think Layla's like, "Oh, the author! You're a writer!" And she just gets like all excited. She's like, "Oh, I think I have read some of your books." And fangirl.
Yeah, and he says, "Oh, it's good to meet a fan. It's nice that you know, if you have a copy of my book, perhaps I could sign it for you."
I have one. No.
Do I have a copy?
Do you have a copy? Is it on your character sheet?
No.
Okay, so you don't have a copy. Maybe you've seen it before. You've heard of. He's written a bunch of books. Volo's Guide to Monsters. Make a history check. If you're a fan of his, make a history check with advantage. A 12. So you know he's written, you know, Volo's Guide to Monsters and a few other books. You've heard that he's in Waterdeep right now writing Volo's Guide to Waterdeep. And he's like, "Oh, well, you know, perhaps if we work together a bit, maybe I give you one of my books, a signed copy. It would be my honor for such a brave individual."
Oh, wow.
But you see, my friend whose name is Floon Blackmar. He, like I said, more beauty than brains, and I left him in a bar a few nights ago, and with the violence on the streets and creatures coming out of the well, I worry something may have happened to him, and I thought perhaps a group a lot like you, maybe you could offer to find him. I can pay you now. I can pay you 10 dragons, which is a gold piece. 10 dragons a piece now, and then I can give you a great deal more, maybe 10 times that, if you find him. May I prevail on such people in my time of need.
I think Layla is probably like, you know, he's offering money up front, but she's like, "Oh, I think, you know, that's quite a generous offer." But you know, we're such a small party of adventurers, and there's a few things we might need in advance. Could you perhaps give us 75% in advance to find this Floon? And you know, we'll need his last whereabouts, and
Okay. Make an insight check for me for the next thing he's about to say. Oh shit. Okay. He goes, "Oh, perhaps we are mistaken here. Then I cannot pay you more than that. Is like a going rate for the 10 up front, and then 10 times that. This is a very good deal." You get the sense that it's not that he doesn't plan to pay you. It's not that he like is trying to swindle you in any way, but you don't think he has that much money like on him right now. You don't think he can give you like he literally couldn't reach into his pouch and give you the additional coin. And yeah, like he's not trying to swindle you, but there's something like going on there with like his finances that you sort of pick up in like as he like swirls his mustache trying to straighten it out as he's thinking.
Well, I'll say, well, perhaps you can give us a bit more after you finish your book. I think that would
Okay. He says, well, you see, I am currently in the deal. I have a house. It's a manor. It's nothing serious. I am going to sell it. Once I sell it, I will have the money to pay you. I can give you each the 10 gold I promise now, and perhaps I give you a copy of my book. Is for good standing. And he starts to reach into like his side pouch and dig around.
I kind of look at the group and I'm like, "Is good? Is good? You guys want to go adventuring?"
I think I perk up at the mention of a house.
I'm trying to hide behind the other tall person.
I think Kurt's gonna push through the group and be like, "Oh, Mr. Bola, I've heard so much about you. I'm such a big fan," and take his hand.
Oh, it's
Shake it
always good to
violently.
meet another fan. You see it?
I
Yes.
would love to take your payment up front.
Yes.
And
I will give you.
when my group would be willing to do this for you if you would promise us your house.
He thinks, oh, no, you see, the house is sold. I make the deal tomorrow.
All right, that's fine. We'll work out the details later.
But, oh,
But I would
okay.
be happy to do this for you.
Well, I give you the gold
And
now.
can I use a persuasion?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Just give us your house.
You hear house and dong.
I take payments in house.
Okay.
I roll.
Yeah, he's so between your persuasion and Layla's, he's like, Chase has to burp. Hang on. Okay.
Ooh.
He goes, what? No, he goes, oh, okay, so yes, you trust me. I give you the 10 now and 100 each after I sell my house. And then, I am done with my book in Waterdeep, and if you like, because you are such great fans, is a sign of trust, I will give you a copy of my last book. And you will take that, and then when you will, yes, and I will sign it for you. And he pulls out a big ass, like, heavy tome, like this thick, giant book, flips open to the front page, and then he's like, oh, I do not have a quill. And, like a pencil from behind his ear that he uses to, like, write down orders for Bonnie, and, like, slides it across the bar. And he's like, oh, yes, good. And he's like, who should I make the inscription out to?
Well, do you guys all want to go first, or would you let me start?
Buster's licking the blood off the floor.
And
What's it taste
the
like?
weirdest part about that, Buster's over there licking like blood and goop off the floor where that troll was killed, and like nobody's really looking at him.
I'm gonna walk up. Tastes like.
It tastes like power.
And then I like get down.
You're like, give
You
me
know
another
what?
taste.
I think I'm good. I think I'm just gonna go sign my name.
So you write your name in the book for him. You just write Curtis in there.
Curtis Chalmers, and it's
Okay.
a nice cursive.
And he looks at Layla, like waiting for your name.
My name is Layla.
Okay, so in big, scrawling, flowering letters.
You need your mic,
There you go. He writes, to my dear friends, and then he fills in Layla above where Curtis wrote in the book. So it says Layla, and he writes like a big flowery. I think he draws the D&D like dragon ampersand.
Beautiful.
So it says, to my dear friends Layla and Curtis, a pair of the mightiest warriors I have ever witnessed. All the love, Volo. And he holds the book out to you, and then he's like, oh, and yes, the money. And he pulls out the money, and he'll give each of you 10 gold pieces. Or if there's people licking blood, he he will not give them. He goes, oh, and the Floon. Floon is a very handsome man. He is in his early 30s. He has wavy, coppery, like, are any of you blonde?
Oh, I'm blonde.
Chris? Wavy, blood, the coppery, similar to this color, but more red. He points at Chris, like pointing at here. His hair is like that, and he was dressed in very fine clothing last I saw him, but that was 2 nights ago in the dock ward. We were drinking at the Skewer Dragon, and, drumming up business for my new book, gathering information.
Can you have Volo roll insight? Because my character wants to tell him something, but's very bad at going, hey!
Yeah, hang on. I gotta find Volo's stats. It's on this page.
No, is your friend
The stream is seeing all
this.
the stream is seeing all the shit I'm dealing with right now, so they're seeing my 800 tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Volo.
Oh, you're streaming right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Volo. You said insight?
Yeah. It's
I
that's
stream.
what you use to see
Whatever.
how people are feeling, right?
Yep. I got an 8.
Oh, people.
Okay. Make a deception check, because you're trying to hide something.
No, I'm not. I'm trying. Or it's not really I'm trying to hide things. Like, but
I mean, if you want him to notice,
Like-
if you want him to notice, he notices. Like you don't have to.
well,
There's no
no,
rule required.
Okay, well, basically, eventually, he'll
Oh, no,
kind of
I
go,
don't notice.
I actually don't have a lot of interest in your current book. Do you think I could get a copy of next one?
The next book, and he's like, "Well, they just finished Volo's Guide to Spirits and Ghosts. It is not published yet. I tell you what, if you finish this quest for me by the time it was."
I thought you said he was running a guide to
Yeah, so he wrote Volo's Guide to Monsters. He just finished Volo's Guide to Spirits and Ghosts, and he's working on Volo's
okay.
Guide to Waterdeep.
Okay.
But he's like, Spirits and Ghosts, it has not been published yet. So when it is finished, once this is done, I will have a copy sent to you.
Okay, thanks.
Is good. Okay. Okay, but you'll find my friend Floon. You let me know where he is. You can always find me. I will be here every night for the next few weeks, observing. I may put the and he points at the spot where your friends are licking blood up off the floor. The encounter you just had. It may go into my guide. I may warn against. I call this place for hardy individuals only. And Durnan goes, just a troll. Ain't no need for caution around a troll as long as you got a lamp. And some good people around to help you out, right? Right? And he looks at all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slurp, slurp.
Hello.
Okay, well, do you have any more questions for me about the Floon or about the about where I saw him last?
I do have a question for you, Volo. I was wondering if in your guide to Waterdeep, as you write it, would you put in like a what do you call it? An appendix? Yeah, like an addition to like the Cobblers Guild of and merchants things.
No, I have listed a many fine shop that I have visited in my travels here.
I don't know if you visited my shop because
you have a shop, one that you keep that you sell the goods on your own. And
yes,
he starts digging in his bag for a notebook.
I rolled 8 in survival to see if eating blood off the floor is very hygienic.
You don't need to roll. It's a bad fucking idea. And he's like, he'll ask you about the shop, and he'll take notes. Suddenly, he produces a quill, and begins taking notes about your shop and the types of things you sell, and find the shoes. Maybe I come and find this place. And he's like, where is your shop? And this is the moment you realize that the shop that you're always telling people about isn't so much as a physical location, is you work for
Amazon.
Yeah, you work for somebody else and you do custom orders and you're good at what you do, but you don't have the actual funds to have a physical shop.
A storefront.
Yeah, more of a salesman. Yeah, I get it to you in 2 weeks.
You've got an ad fee.
Perhaps after you find the Floon, you come you tell me
Aw.
about it.
Yes, absolutely.
And then some guy, random dude in the middle of the crowd is like, did somebody say Floon? My name's Floon. I'm Floon. And Volo looks over and he's like, you're not the Floon we're looking for. And then he looks back at the rest of you and he's like, I'm sorry, it's a very common name. Lots of people named Floon.
Can I roll insight on that guy?
Yeah.
Can we see if he's blonde?
No, this guy has like black hair. It's literally just a random drunk dude who's probably named Floon.
He's also a Floon.
Floon.
And he's like, well, I must have to tell you, for the guide I am writing, I have hit a bit of a block, but it seems this encounter and the speaking of the fine shoes has helped quite a bit. I appreciate that. Perhaps we talk again when you find my friend, the Floon.
Every time you say you find your friend Floon. So...
Imagine trying to say it with like Mario's accent, with like the worst Italian accent you can do.
That's what makes it funny.
Because I don't want to do a really Italian accent. I want to do like bad, fake fantasy Italian accent.
Is his mustache even real? Would we have to roll insight?
Oh no, it's real.
Hello.
His beard and shit's real. Yeah.
He walks around in a fake mustache.
And he's like, well,
So it's part of his image.
I last saw a Floon at the Skewered Dragon. Perhaps you check there for him. You ask around. Maybe he just got drunk and passed out somewhere.
Let's see. Well, we will take care of your problem right away, Mr. Bull.
He's like, I really hope a Floon hasn't been kidnapped. That would be just the worst.
Oh, that could never happen.
What makes you think he's kidnapped?
Have you not noticed the violence, the kidnappings, the murders? The streets are erupting, and it is the heat, I believe. As it gets warmer, people get some more.
How the city was.
Oh no! You see, the city guard very, very strict. They don't the watch and the guard and the black staff and the greyhounds and the Lord of the Lions. And he starts like just listing people, and he's like, they don't like violence in the streets. It's been quite bad. People don't enjoy it.
Well, is there any reason why you think maybe he got kidnapped? I mean, aside from the violence, does he look like a target?
Shakes his head. Not that I know of. Floon he's a harmless man. He's a bit of a lout, but he's a good fellow. He not much money, but he likes to dress nice. Maybe the good clothes made him a target. And you see the dock ward. Are any of you from here? You're from the Waterdeep.
Nope.
And she shrugs. And he goes, well, Joyden would know. She knows. The dock ward. It could be an unpleasant place.
So it's not full of unsavory.
It's a bit ghetto, like for a modern analogy, so you guys understand. It's a bit ghetto.
Well, it can't be any worse than this place. Have you seen the riffraff in here?
Talking about and
Exactly.
Durin, he's moving drinks around. He's like, look, it's a bar for adventurers, right? Adventurers. Look, most of you need to take a bath, but it's a bar for adventurers. And he goes back to serving drinks.
Well, okay, sure, we'll do that. Thank you for the gold, and I got a woman to attend to, so and she pardons herself.
At this point, Yagra is like 4 drinks ahead of you. She's like, yeah, you do. No. She goes, I got a woman to attend to, and Yagra goes, not woman, a Yagra.
I do like a challenge.
So yeah, what else do you guys want to do? Floon has paid you. If you don't have any further questions, he'll go about his carousing.
I think you mean Volo paid us. If Floon paid us, that would be...
I'm sorry, Volo paid you. If you don't have any further questions for him, he will go about his carousing.
Mystery solved. Found him.
Volo is almost an anagram for Floon if you replace the V with an F and an N.
And add an N in there somewhere.
You turn the V upside down, it's kind of like an N.
Wake up, America.
Alex Jones.
I'm in control.
So, Kelrick is gonna order.
Also, you guys can all have inspiration for all the role playing we've been doing.
Yay!
Yay.
Kelrick is gonna order like the highest alcohol content drink that they sell in this bar, and
Fire
he's
wine.
going to- that, and then he's gonna dump it on top of the blood. So.
At some point Bonnie goes over there with like a mop and a bucket and starts like cleaning it up. So it just like pushes the two of you that are licking the blood. So like at some point, Buster, you're like trying to lick at the blood and a mop hits you in the face, like just and she just keeps doing it until you move.
You want my power. And then he just kind of gets distracted by something else.
Yeah.
And actually, his tongue probably hits Kurt's foot, and he's like, "Ugh, wait a minute, I know that foot." He looks up, and he's like, "My friend."
I was gonna come over and ask if you needed any assistance. Are you hungry? Do you need anything? You don't look like you're doing too well eating off the floor.
Don't you recognize me? And he's just all covered in blood.
I'm gonna have to squint really hard.
Does he have
Take my
feathers
glasses
like
off.
Silver does? They're just like sticky with blood.
Yeah, it's
like all
they're all
matted.
crazy, the weird colors. You don't know what's been in it. It's
Sorry, I don't think I'd know anyone that eat off the floor like that.
what? You don't know Buster Nut. The Great.
I didn't know that was you.
It's me.
I can't recognize you under all the filth.
No, it's not filth. It's power.
You all right? Do you
He
need a
sounds
bath?
fine. Sounds fine to me.
No, bath will strip away power.
Oh, she came back. And Buster, there's a moment where you can swear you hear like a whisper or a sound echo up out of the well.
You hear that?
Nobody
Can I
else
roll?
hears it.
Can I roll like a perception?
You can. I mean, it's incomprehensible. It's quiet, and it's in a language you can kind of barely understand. But it's just this weird, like cloying, like sirens call. Yeah, there's nothing. There's no words in it. It's almost like a little squeak, a little cry of something that sounds like prey to you.
Oh, I do want to ask the bartender. What's his face?
Durnan.
What's his name again? Durnan. Why do people go down the well? What's that about?
He looks at you a little confused. He's like, well, you see, when adventurers get to a certain point of capability, they like to descend down into Undermountain and toward to, I don't know, prove their worth, try to catch up old Durnan, and he points at himself.
Have you been down there?
And he nods. I've been down there, seen the place. Cleared it out back in my day, but it tends to, and he waves a hand like, refill.
Word is nobody has ever returned. What makes you so different?
A few come back now and again. Perhaps one day when you lot are more experienced adventurers, you'd like to go down yourselves.
I don't think there's anything down there that I'm looking for.
He looks at you and he's like, "It's a good fight. There's good fights down there, Chris." Challenging. No? Okay, well.
And that's fine.
Smiting odors? Sounds like a good pastime.
How many of you guys are there? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Are there?
Currently, there's 6.
Oh, Kat, where'd you go?
Your video is
Oh
on.
yeah, your video.
Yeah. So he
Weird. I see it.
Maybe, let's do
Oh shit, really? Already? Okay. Buster, or should I say
Oh, you're back.
Filbert, what would draw Filbert to the Yawning Portal?
Oh dear.
I rolled. It's always the goddamn warlock.
That is just the cursed seat.
You could see my roll, right? I rolled a d7 to see who,
Oh,
whose
yeah.
character was going to show up, and it rolled a 7. So what would draw Filbert to the Yawning Portal?
Oh shit. What would?
Indy?
Should be following in.
Or maybe Tindy.
I mean, I think you guys as characters have been here before for other reasons, but you know, or is he out for a drink?
I don't think we've done a campaign in this one as the other characters.
Did we come in?
We've discussed doing it before, but we've never actually done it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's in Waterdeep, and so is Filbert. So like, why is Filbert in the Yawning Portal?
No.
Do you want to think about it, and we'll come back around?
Sure.
I had an idea, but then I realized it would work.
Yeah.
I mean, it could literally be he's out for a drink. He's here to talk to somebody specific, like have a meeting with someone. Could be he just got curious.
Yeah, I think he would be curious about the pit.
Okay, so yeah, Filbert, you've heard legends, you've heard stories of the Yawning Portal throughout your time in Waterdeep, and the fact that it descends down into Undermountain. And I remember you, Rachel, as a character, were curious, or as a player, were curious about Undermountain. So your character, I think, is curious as well. He's heard these legends and decides he's gonna go and look at the pit one evening, and Filbert, you come strolling into to the Yawning Portal, and would Filbert recognize his father at all? Because there's a good chance that the two of you don't recognize each other, and we just see Filbert as like an establishing shot, like going into the Yawning Portal. It's like a near miss kind of thing. So there's a chance that neither one of you knows what the other one looks like anymore, and you don't have to actually interact between your two characters. But Filbert's here, and so is Curtis, or so is Buster.
Oh my god. I was not expecting this to happen.
Let's do this, because this is a good point. Does Filbert recognize Buster?
I think he recognizes his copper scales.
Okay. And does Buster recognize Filbert?
No.
Okay, so there's this moment where this there's this moment where this other little two ships passing in the night, as the group of you are getting together and perhaps getting ready to discuss, trying to find Floon, where another tiny little feathered dragonborn breezes into the room, and Filbert sees Buster. He recognizes the copper, like probably based on Mima's descriptions, recognizes the copper skin and the pattern of the feathers, those slicked with blood. He's heard stories about Buster enough to pick him out in a crowd. He sees Buster. Buster is what is Buster doing when Filbert notices him?
He's probably craning his head towards the yawning, towards the pit. Just being like, I know you're down there. It's like...
Yeah, so Filbert sees this shouting madman and recognizes him as a relative, and that's where we'll take a break. And maybe,
Cool.
do you guys want to keep playing? Do you want to end it there? It's a good place to end.
I can keep
that
going.
time.
Yeah,
It's early, but
it is. It is early.
Wow.
hey, I didn't expect it either, but I was like, somebody else's old character should make an appearance. I'm gonna roll a die to see who it is. And then I just counted and rolled the die. And
Rachel is sitting in my seat, so
Yeah.
No, it's cause she's a warlock.
yeah.
That's how it's gonna work. Welcome to that life, Rachel.
He was a warlock.
Yay!
And, he didn't have nearly as much trouble as Tindalo.
Yeah.
I don't know. He did almost get into a one-on-one fight with an undead king of feathers.
He got bit in half by an undead king of feathers.
Yeah.
He only didn't get into the fight because he died immediately.
So I will give Rachel time to think about how Filbert's going to react, and I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
I also will be right back. I'm just going to go this direction,
Yay.
do things with my body
Oh.
that are unspeakable, as opposed to
Okay, there we go. We're back up.
Always be on mute. Always.
So what's Filbert gonna do?
Filbert is probably curious because he's heard his Mima dunk on him so much. You know, it's just like, oh, he used to be so hot, but now he's got ugly, and started doing like weird ass voodoo magic bullshit, and so, you know, he's heard about him crashing family reunions and everybody just getting embarrassed by him. And Filbert knows what he looks like because of vivid descriptions and stuff. But this is the first time he's finally seen his grandpappy.
Just for the record, Filbert's already married.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, congratulations.
That means he missed.
Oh.
He doesn't know that though.
I mean, Filbert.
Peleus probably gave Filbert like a nicer hat,
Oh.
like a nicer version of the hat that he already had.
Oh.
He like made one out of like silk or something.
That's so nice.
Like, here you go. It's a wedding present.
So
I don't know
he's-
what he got it was. Like a weird little.
So is he gonna walk up to him? Is he gonna go shove him in the well and you need to roll a new character?
Probably oh god, what is he gonna do? He's probably gonna try to actually get the courage to poke him, but he's gonna be like and then turn around and ask for a drink.
Okay. So we see this little dragonborn fellow come in, and there's a moment where he looks longingly at Buster. He's sort of giving Buster a strange look, and then just walks to the bar.
Does Filbert know Curtis?
No, they've
He
never
knows
met.
of him. He's never seen him.
Okay, well, I didn't know if Curtis made the wedding.
He recognizes. No. Yeah, Curtis hasn't been in Waterdeep. I'll tell you guys as players, this is probably like a year after all of that. So.
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
So Filbert's drinking at the bar. Curtis is looking down into the well, like yelling, like, I know you're down there. Come back. You guys have a quest? Is there what I will probably play because we gotta get up early in the morning, so we'll probably play for like another 10 or 15 minutes.
All right.
So is there anything else you guys want to achieve this evening?
I want to figure out if there's a way to visit Klaus without eating.
Do you want to just ask around?
Yes. Although it's clearly he's fine with the more exotic races.
Make like a persuasion check. I mean, there's a lot of weird fucking people in here, so there's plenty of exotic races.
My game is crashing again. Do you think you can roll it for me?
Yeah. I think technically anybody can roll it for you, but I know how to do it. So, Kelric.
Nothing.
Persuasion.
It keeps bringing up page unresponsive.
You may regret me doing this. 14. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you talk to a few people. You don't learn any like particular new information. Some people don't know that there's a red dragon hanging out in fucking Waterdeep. Some people know of him but don't know a way to contact him.
Can I overhear him asking about dragons?
Yeah.
I'm probably not being very.
Yeah, definitely.
I just kind of like pop up and I'm like, dragon. I'm ready.
I'm losing audio.
Excuse you. Excuse you. Do you not see my beautiful form? I am definitely a dragon.
Yagra is going to pick Layla up. Like literally physically, like pick you up and start going up the stairs with you.
Whoa!
I like, I think we're giddily laughing, and we're talking about just, I don't know, silly things.
So, a few hours pass with you guys in the Yawning Portal.
I better make a con save.
More like a strength.
See. My strength is not great.
You take one. You take 1 point of exhaustion.
Oh boy. Oh, she's strong, guys.
And have a very interesting night with Yagra Stonefist. By the time you guys reconvene,
have a couple of new scars. Congratulations.
Yeah, but yeah, you can show them off to Durnan. By the time you guys reconvene, it's probably like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. The crowd has begun to thin out, though it seems like there are always people in the Yawning Portal. The crowds begin to thin out. It's getting late in the night. Eventually, do you guys want to head out to try to look for Floon? Do you want to find a place to sleep for the evening first?
I actually imagine I already have a room here.
Sure. Yeah. What? But I mean, I want to know what this like last thing we do is for the night. Do you guys rest?
Do monasteries have like lodging?
Depends.
I think we're resting, yes.
Or churches?
It depends. Some gods do, some gods don't.
Okay.
Although,
well, I think I'm gonna be.
Do you have like
staying at one of these places?
Do you have the alkalite background?
I do.
What god?
Guess.
I have no idea.
All right, so I don't think Kazef has followers in Waterdeep, but can I just stay with another church for their lodgings?
So it's like lodging with worshippers of your faith. So it's other people of the same faith.
I don't know if there would be any this far away from where I used to live.
So I think there may be like a cult, like a group of fanatics.
That's good enough for me.
And you can, we'll have to come up with
on their couch somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to come up with like
in my house.
We'll have to come up with some NPCs for that. I'll add it to my notes, my GM notes, but yeah, we'll have to come up with some NPCs. But you can find, if you have that as like a feature, then you can find like another group of worshippers of Kezref that will give you lodging.
Yeah, so I think I want to stay there for the night, and I bring Peepaw at his behest so he can take a bath.
Do you guys make plans to meet back up to try to look for Floon, or?
I think we might actually want to start looking for a night, because that's popular for drinking times. He's apparently was last seen at a bar. And don't bars close in like a couple of hours? Do they follow the same rules as
If you've been staying at the Yawning Portal, it seems to never close.
Oh, okay. Then
But
I'll
most other establishments close at some point. The Yawning Portal does not seem to ever actually close.
Well, the guy wasn't last seen at the Yawning Portal. He was seen at the Twisted Dragon or something like that. So
the Skewered Dragon in the Dock Ward.
Yeah,
Dragon.
That one. So I'm gonna start looking there.
Let's do this.
I'm with you.
Let me move you guys. So are you guys gonna all go together, or do you make plans to like leave out together? Do you go rest for the evening and then meet up again later? Like, what's the plan here?
I mean, sure, I want to get my spell slots back.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to try to go to the. Did you say Twisting Dragon?
Skewered.
Skewered Dragon.
Skewered Dragon. Yeah.
Can you see this right here?
Like to go.
Where I'm pinging?
Yeah, a little ping.
Interrogate.
Do you see this?
That little L.
Hang on.
Yeah,
I need to know if you guys. Yeah, here. Okay, so this, Susie, boop, the Temple of Beauty right there. Can you see that? That is the Temple to Soon.
Oh, well then.
Soon and Floon.
I finished my. I think she passes out and doesn't make it back to the temple that evening.
Cool.
Because, Constitution save of 5. Don't think she's gonna stay away. But she probably needs to go back there in the morning to get her thing.
I'll pay for a room for her at the.
But you could
Yawning
just
Portal.
crash in Yager's room.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
okay.
I'm pretty sure I unwillingly kind of passed out from all the exhaustion.
It's not on my map for some reason, but the Yawning Portal is in this area. I'll get a marker made for it. And the dock ward, you guys can see the names of the wards, correct?
Yeah.
So the dock ward is way the fuck down south. So the Skewer Dragon is down here. It's gonna take you probably an hour to travel from where you are up in the northern area down to the dock ward.
Okay.
Oh, here. Okay, the dock. I lied. The Yawning Portal is in the dock ward. Let me mark the Yawning Portal on your map.
Wow.
Bam.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh.
Wait, no. Fucking ball sacks.
It's fine.
Okay.
You can
So
do it. I
where
believe in you.
the question is, after the night of carousing and drinking and finding this information, where and when do you guys head out to go on the search for Floon?
I'll probably head out immediately.
So you're going out that evening, like by yourself, or?
Since I'm not planning on doing anything, except for.
I mean, it's like
scouting.
Like I said, it's like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning at this point. Like it's bedtime.
Oh.
But if you want to go out into the dock ward in the middle of the night by yourself, you can.
Can I roll knowledge local or something to see if I'm aware if that's safe or not?
I mean, you've been told that the dock ward is dangerous.
Yeah.
Also, that's a good role playing moment actually. If you go to leave, then Jordan could warn you ahead of time. Jordan could be like, "That's a bad idea. We should go as a group."
Yeah. Not to worry. To one treats the dock ward. Nothing good happens 3 a.m. Nothing.
I feel like every time I talk about this, it's now a First it was one, then it was two.
Let's just assume you guys plan to regroup and head out together in the morning. We'll assume you leave out from the Yawning Portal. So the night closes, the morning comes, the sun begins to rise, and that burn off the spring mist as the day begins to transition to what feels like more of a summer day as the heat begins to settle over the city. The group of you meet up outside of the Yawning Portal with the rise of the sun. Some of you hungover, some of you beaten up from the night's activities before, but comfortable and ready to move forward and try to find a friend for Floon, or try to find a friend for Volo. Whose name I keep getting back. Yes, Volo Floon. Try to find a friend for Volo. You group up outside of the Yawning Portal. The city stretches out before you, and that is what we'll pick up next time. You guys will pick up with the search for Floon.
All right.
Good session.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting this all set up, man.
Yeah. What are we going to call our group? We should call our group and then make episodes.
You guys start having this conversation as you make your way toward the dock ward. Like you start to head south and
we need a team name.
It's the Floonies.
I may or may not have a personality shift between this session and next, just to kind of test it out. Yeah.
It happens. I also, if any of you guys want to completely change characters or anything like that, you're good to change characters until we level up. Once we level up, then that's the character you're playing. But if you want to change before we hit level 2, just let me know and I will help you out.
All right.
How much XP do we get per session? Or are we doing it
We'll do milestone. I'll just tell you guys when to level up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
That's actually the XP model that the module suggests. It's like, here's the levels for each like part of the adventure. So what do you guys think of the adventure? I know this is like just the introduction part, but what do we think of the adventure so far? There's a lot going on that you've like uncovered quickly.
Yeah, there is a lot going on.
I like the idea of being able to plunder the deeps of the portal. But that's like a side mission. Just like, people sometimes don't pack, but some do. Mostly don't. So, that's cool. We'll jump in there when we're drunk one day.
You can.
When it sounds like a good idea.
I will grab the. There's a whole dungeon that I can grab that I can just throw on here if you guys want to just say fuck it and go down into the dungeon of the Mad Mage. Probably not a good idea at level 1, but.
Sounds like fun.
I mean, a troll came out of there and almost killed 2 of you tonight, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, one shot, literally both of y'all.
Yeah.
And seeing as I'm an eye healer, and I probably would have died.
Level 1, guys. Level 1.
Oh, wait.
Just remember that as we play. I know we've been playing fairly high level characters for a while now, but level 1.
Yeah. It's weird. Everything is dangerous again.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was always just.
When you were high level, there was more like room for error.
There was
and, like,
more we could do about it.
Yeah.
Well,
Now
we
it's
were high
like.
level, and there were like 10 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is an insane number. Whenever we have 4 people, we're gonna just slowly fill up the screen. But I feel like that this is gonna be an interesting, and I kind of commented on this while you guys were not on headphones, but this might be a more interesting group to try and get into a cohesive unit. Because the last one clicked pretty quick, even though we had just met. But this one's gonna be a bit.
We'll see.
The fact that you say.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Different dynamics, man.
Yeah.
No. I know it's different dynamics. It's.
Kat, why did you curse me with all of these lychee jellies?
How is it a curse?
Because I have to eat them all.
I don't.
I definitely.
It's in the Constitution. God, learn about Jesus, Kat.
Someone.
I'm sorry. I didn't put you right.
10 things of lychee jelly in front of you. You gotta eat them all.
I can help you.
You can help me.
But I feel like this is
Thank you.
going to be a very different season. And I feel like it's one of those things that it might be a bit longer to get everyone to click, but once we do, it's going to be a very
So,
strong...
for the sake of giving you guys a heads up, especially Uzochi, who's decided to be a guild artisan, there are guilds for everything in Waterdeep, and there are mechanics in the game.
What is this, Discworld?
It's sort of similar. I think maybe it's inspired by that, but there are guilds for pretty much everything. There's not like an assassin's guild and a thieves guild. Like, it's not quite like illegal activities are still illegal. But there are guilds pretty much everything, and there are ways to track your activities within the guild. So I'm gonna try to give you guys opportunity for downtime, probably between like actual sessions to when you guys don't have anything pertinent going on, where there'll be some time where if you guys want to build shoes or whatever, you'll hopefully have time to do that, and there's mechanisms for that.
Can I play as Peleus in downtime? And you can just like make hats.
I mean, if you don't have anything for Chris to do, I guess, but it'll just be like Peleus made some hats. It has no effect on the game we're actually playing. But,
Yeah.
but Peleus made some hats.
Peleus shows up to make some hats and he leaves.
And there are
He makes so many hats. He's like, here, everybody, have a hat. So then walks off.
No, he would still charge you.
so
for
there's a lot of
You gotta pay
guilds
for that
and
hat.
factions and groups and things like that you guys are going to get an opportunity to interact with. So there's a lot of potential for role playing. And even for like a druid, which is what Kat's playing, even though it's a very urban adventure, there's stuff I can use for that. And I also think as a druid, you might be very interested in the City of the Dead, because it's basically it's a giant.
Wouldn't that be like the bane of my existence?
It's a giant park. Like, I mean, it's filled with mausoleums and places, but it's a park. It's like a public park. People go there to have picnics.
Wait, haven't we been there? Didn't we have to clear that out at one point?
You had to go in there at night once, yeah.
Yeah.
In the previous
that
campaign.
place.
Yeah, but It's a giant city park. So.
Too bad it closes at night unless they just stay there.
I mean, you can sneak in.
Cool beans. All right.
I'm dead.
I gotta go
Chris
take
might live there,
my dog out
actually.
and go to bed.
Alright, bye.
Oh, good
All right.
night.
Love you guys.
Later.
Good night.
Love you.
I'm waving at the
Love you too.